Yes! Oh, man. For those of you who don't know, my name is Daniel Andrews, owner and creator of Dan Talks Football. I decided to bring you something I'm calling Afternoon Delight. You know, what's a good thing to do here in the middle of the afternoon, but to talk football. Now, I'm here in beautiful Las Vegas where it is 1 o'clock. Maybe you're on the East Coast, it's 4 o'clock. You know, if you have that normal 9 to 5 type schedule, hey, maybe, you want to, finish up your workday and spend an hour talking football. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for 3 hours to talk football. Going forward, I might change the show format just to go Tuesday through Friday. The reason being is I didn't get a chance to watch every single game into full detail, but I watched the NFL Red Zone for the first part of the day in Las Vegas, where I'm at. I was able to watch Pittsburgh, Atlanta. I watched the Red Zone instead. Second half of the day, I watched Raiders, Chargers. I was predicting it'd be an ugly game. It was an ugly game. I was going to go back and forth between Dallas and Cleveland. However, once I saw Cleveland's offensive tackles were out and I saw Dallas got up early, I was like, okay, I know what's going to happen here. We'll talk about that in a bit. And then Sunday night, what a great game Sunday night. Look at the NFL's primetime games. Overtime, Lions, Rams, 34-29 in Brazil, Eagles, Packers. Jordan Love out. I'm hearing different stories, but all of them sound the same, where the max is 6 weeks, so it's not a season-ending injury. But he's out anywhere from 3 to 6, 4 to 6. I haven't had a chance to go over the Packers schedule, but it's very disappointing. You know, you're starting off 0-1. Now your quarterback who you gave a boatload of money to is going to be out. And then, of course, Thursday night. What a great game Thursday night. I got Corey, a.k.a. the Red Sea, joining. Hello, Corey. I was thinking of you specifically, and I don't know if you got my message or not, because when I was watching Red Zone, the Cardinals were up 17-3 against the Buffalo Bills. Then Jonah Williams goes down. Now, for those of you who don't know, Jonah Williams was the 11th overall pick in the draft several years ago. The Bengals drafted Jonah Williams because the year before they drafted this. You did. Okay, I'm sorry. He said, okay, I you know what? I feel like such a dick. I didn't even get a chance to look at it. All right, I'm having some issues with Instagram, but I'll check it. I'll check it out. But bottom line, I go ahead and the score 17-3. Jonah Williams. Now here's the story of Jonah Williams. They drafted Joe Burrow, then they drafted Jonah Williams. He was 11th overall pick out of Alabama, going to be a franchise left tackle. I didn't think he was worthy of the 11th overall pick, but the main reason the Bengals drafted him is because they had problems with offensive linemen staying healthy. Jonah Williams never missed a practice, never missed a game. You take him at the 11th overall pick, plug and play at left tackle. You know he's going to play every snap because that's what he did in college. Very first minicamp, tears his ACL, out the whole year. Comes back, plays okay, but not well enough for the Bengals to say, hey, look, we got to address our offensive line. So a couple years ago, Orlando Brown Jr. signs a big free agent deal, becomes starting left tackle for the Bengals. Jonah Williams demands a trade. Then he kind of looked around and saw the free agent market with right tackles. You know, Jawan Taylor, the Kansas City Chiefs, 4 years. I think it was 88 million, something like that, something ridiculous. Mike McGlinchey, Denver signed 4 years, 100 something. Yeah, and so what I saw was Jonah Williams. Now, so what happened is last year, not 2024, 2023, the Cardinals traded down from 13 to 12, then traded back up to 6 to draft Paris Johnson Jr., starting right tackle. Okay. Moved him over to the left side. Solid addition on the offensive line, free agent addition, Jonah Williams. When he went down, the score was 17-3. And the Cardinals looked like they kind of surprised Buffalo. And sometimes this happens week one. Sometimes you come in week one, you're not 100%, and you're not ready to go. But when Williams went down, every clip I saw, Kyler Murray was moving around, scrambling, missing reads. There's a very there's a very well-known clip about Marvin Harrison Jr. wide open for a touchdown. Nobody close to him, blown coverage. Kyler Murray didn't see him. I'd argue that with Jonah Williams, if he was still playing, that maybe he makes that play. Ended up being a really entertaining game. I didn't get a chance to watch the whole game, but that's one of the things I wanted to see. So going forward, I'm toying around maybe just Tuesday through Friday. That way I can watch more film. That way I can go ahead and have a little more answers for you. But the main reason I want to go Monday through Friday is I just want to talk football. And if you're here joining me, all questions are answered. Anything goes. So Perry, man, hey, thank you for joining me for some afternoon delight. I'm really, 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 really excited to do this. I didn't get a chance to obviously watch every single game. I saw the primetime games. I saw Raiders Chargers, and I saw the NFL Red Zone. A lot of things I really want to go back and watch. Some things I don't need to see. The only thing uglier than the Giants uniforms was the play. I don't need to watch that game. I can tell you everything I need to know. Darnold looked decent. Giants looked bad. I really don't need to see much of that. I saw the Andrew Van Ginkel touchdown. I thought that was neat. I've always been a huge Andrew Van Ginkel fan. Dallas Turner got sacked in that game. Very, very, very big, very important. It's going to be fun to watch the Vikings going forward. And it also ties into Green Bay getting hurt because 3 teams in the NFC North won, Green Bay didn't, and you're going to have Malik Willis. A lot of people thought he was a first-round player. And by the way, welcome Denver Gator. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, the Green Bay Packers traded for Malik Willis this offseason, went ahead and picked him up. And I really like the move because I like the talent. He wasn't really flourishing in Tennessee. Now, keep in mind, you had Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel, defensive-minded coach, a guy that should have an NFL head coaching job. I think in 2025, Mike Vrabel will be an NFL head coach. It'll be interesting to see where. I think there's several teams that you could put him on, and I think he'll do well. But you have Green Bay. You got Jordan Love, who has a very similar skill set to Malik Willis. Jordan Love, when he came out of Utah State, was raw and athletic, and he took time to develop. And Malik Willis, I thought, was the same type of quarterback, and I thought he was put in the wrong type of situation in Tennessee. I thought a smart Tennessee used a third-round pick on him, didn't really know how to develop him, didn't really know how to use him, and got rid of him for almost nothing. Of course, you drafted Denver Gators guy Will Levis, who was the Bears MVP. I'll go into that here a little more in a second, but you're going to have to figure out some things really, really fast. Josh Jacobs had a good game against an Eagles defense that I'm not really sure what to think yet. They made some plays, blew some coverages. I think the defense will get better as the year goes on. Quinion Mitchell made some plays, gave up some plays, but that looks like a Pro Bowl caliber corner. Quinion Mitchell looks like a guy that's going to be very, 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 very good. Very, 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 very good. I love this. I love this. Yeah. I'm glad you get a kick out of it. I'm glad you get a kick out of it. Basically, all I want to do is brighten up your afternoon. I want to talk some football. It occurred to me as I was getting ready to come on that maybe this show would be better Tuesday through Friday. That way I can watch more football on Monday. My picks video will be out tomorrow. Perry, the Bucks are good. Baker looked like it. Yeah, matter of fact, if you were to ask me today, right now, today, who's NFL MVP, I would say Baker Mayfield. Now, I think Washington's defense is going to be bad all year. They'll improve. They need a pass rusher. They need some help in the secondary. They got some free agent linebackers. Frankie Lavu from Carolina, really good player. I am so embarrassed. I think he might be possibly top 10 middle linebackers of all time. And I'm just drawing a blank. You know why I started Afternoon Delight? I'm 12 minutes into the show, and I'm just drawing a complete blank on one of the greatest middle linebackers to ever play. I'll have to look it up. I'm embarrassed about this. Bobby Wagner. Well past his prime. They need a lot of help there in Washington. And then I think as the season goes on, they'll be better. But Baker Mayfield just looked awesome. 4 touchdowns. Mike Evans had a pair. Chris Godwin had one. They weren't able to really run the ball. Of course, the Bucks the last 2 years were dead last in rushing yards. I know this because I was in the process of making my NFC South video, which I haven't released yet. My divisional breakdown videos I'm behind on. No excuse. Just I didn't get done, and I'm halfway through it. I'll release it later in the week. I'm going to release all 8 divisional breakdown videos with my preseason predictions, but they're coming out after the season started. But Baker, yeah, Baker Mayfield looked awesome. Right now, today, after week 1, if you were to say who is my NFL MVP, I'm going to tell you it's Baker Mayfield. I am going to give you the stats here. I mean, this is just, listen to this, 24 out of 30, 289, 4 touchdowns. Almost 9 yards an attempt. 9 yards an attempt. Looked awesome. Looked awesome. Just looked awesome. Do I think Washington has a good team? No. Let me rephrase that. I think Washington has a bad defense, but I like what I saw in Baker Mayfield. And Corey, man, again, I apologize. I should have seen it. My three top picks in the draft are Giants, Panthers, and Titans. Bengals could be the picks. Top 5, Burrow can return to form. Cincinnati's got a big game this week. They're going to play Kansas City. That's going to be a big game. I'm going to go over that a little more, maybe today, but definitely tomorrow after I release my picks video. Right before I went on, I wanted to kind of look over some more stuff. Like I said, I might change the format and go Tuesday through Friday. That way I'm able to get a little more information out. Also, Tuesdays when I'm going to release my picks video. But I am going to talk about my picks video, Bengals Chiefs, because I haven't had a chance to look at the point spreads yet. But that might be a game I'll put some action on. I'll put some action on Cincinnati because I think Cincinnati really overlooked New England and was looking at a week 2 matchup at Arrowhead against Kansas City Chiefs. As far as the Giants, Panthers, and Titans, yeah, all three of those teams look really bad. The Panthers, you're going to laugh, but I think out of 3 teams, the team that showed most upside would be the Panthers. And I know what you're thinking, Dan. They lost by 4,000 points against the Saints team. A lot of people thought was going to be bad. Yes, I get that. Derek Brown might be out for the whole year. It looks like a torn meniscus from what I'm hearing. I'm going to follow up on this. Derek Brown had over 100 tackles last year as a defensive lineman. The reason why you haven't heard about Derek Brown being one of the best players in football is because he's on a 2-win Panthers team. Signed a massive contract this offseason. Would have made the NFL top 100 if he was on a better team. I mean, you put him on a highly visible team, something like Dallas or one of the New York teams. Looks great. 2-win team in Carolina. Yeah, he's not going to be very good. He may be out for the whole year. Now, he was their best defensive player last year, probably best player on the whole team. They lost several starters in free agency on defense. But what they did is that in the draft, they got 3 really raw, talented players. The running back they drafted was first running back off the board. They should have gone Trey Benson instead, but I'll get that. That's a conversation for another time. He's on the PUP list because he tore his ACL. He probably would have been a first-round pick, but he tore his ACL in I want to say it was either October or November. He had over 1,000 yards rushing. I think it was week 9 in college football towards ACL. Some reason or another, the Panthers drafted him, but he's on the PUP list right now. May play this year, may not. But I saw enough of the Panthers to realize, hey, look, you just got blown out week 1. That happens. Bad loss. Best player on the team goes down. Why do I think the Panthers look the best? Because I saw enough out of Bryce Young, who's your franchise, that you can build around him. And you have nothing right now. You have Adam Thielen, who's 74 years old, hindered by the fact that he's a white dude. He's your number 1 guy. The other receivers that you drafted, they're not really the guy. I gave Miles Sanders a lot of money. He's not really the guy. I remember I fell in love with Ike Ekwonu. He's not really the guy. But the one thing that the Panthers have that the Giants and Titans don't have is Bryce Young, I think, is an NFL quarterback who needs some help. And he doesn't have any. Out of these 3 teams, I expect the Panthers to be better. And the good news is about the Panthers is that if their offense, which has young, talented players, can gel and improve. Tampa Bay was, if I remember correctly, at one point they were what was it, 4-7? They were 4-7. Dave Canales was Tampa Bay's offensive coordinator last year. It wouldn't surprise me if the Panthers start the season really bad and then have a stretch where they look pretty good. Wouldn't surprise me at all. They had to keep their defensive coordinator. I don't know that whole situation, but I like their defensive coordinator, Evero. He was in Denver for a while. Thought he was a really good coach. I thought he was a possible head coach candidate. Here's the drill. The Giants and Titans, those teams look terrible. I remember a couple years ago where I said I wasn't sold on Daniel Jones. I had this guy just littering in my comments, oh, you're a hater, you don't like him. I was like, I gotta see more. He's just not the guy. I remember they brought in Drew Lock. I know you talked about Drew Lock. He's out. It wouldn't surprise me if Drew Lock gets a few starts. Giants are going to have to draft a quarterback. I haven't done my AFC South video, but you've been following me for a while. You know that I think the Titans are just bad. I was not surprised when they were up early that I was like, okay, Titans get week 1 win. Great. Caleb Williams looks bad. And by the way, Caleb Williams first overall pick to get this first win in a long time. Caleb Williams looked really bad. The Bears had the defensive touchdown. They had special teams touchdown. Caleb Williams didn't throw for 100 yards. Remember how I kept on preaching, take under 3,500 total pass yards for Caleb Williams year 1. Didn't make that bet myself, but I should have. But you're right. It wouldn't surprise me at all if the Bengals start 0-2, but I think that the Bengals will improve. The Giants, Panthers, and Titans, these are 3 teams that are not going to be good teams. They are not going to be good teams. But out of all those 3, despite the massive loss, I fully expect the Panthers to improve. So I'm going to, by the way, all questions are answered on the show. AR-15 might develop into a star. He just needs reps and experience. Alex Pierce, wide receiver, could break out. I was a big fan of Alex Pierce, University of Cincinnati. Part of that Cincinnati Bearcats team that went undefeated, then had a really good game against Georgia in the Sugar Bowl, lost, but had a really, really, really had a really, really good game. University of Cincinnati. The head coach stayed there for 1 more year, then parlayed that into a big deal with the University of Wisconsin. By the way, Wednesdays is going to be fantasy football and college football. I have Keaton from Keaton Talk Sports. He's going to join me Wednesday to talk a little college football. He's an Ohio State Buckeyes fan, so he's excited. But AR-15 might develop into a star. He just needs reps and experience. Alex Pierce, wide receiver, could break out. Alex Pierce could break out. Anthony Richardson, 9 out of 19. That's less than 50%. That's not going to cut it in the NFL. Everybody saw the highlights where he had that bomb, but he also missed Adonde Mitchell, their second-round draft pick out of Texas. The guy wanted Kansas City to draft instead of Xavier Worthy as of right now. I look silly, but I didn't like the way that they used him. I like the fact that they were heavily invested into the ground game. But you need to figure a better way to use them. I think I blamed you. I was watching the highlights and you see the highlights of him throwing deep. 9 out of 19 is just not going to cut it in the NFL. I don't care how good the highlights look. I don't care how awesome of a bomb he can throw. I don't care how far he can throw the ball. Anthony Richardson reminds me a lot of Josh Allen. Josh Allen's first 2 years in the league, he wasn't good. The difference is that you kept the same offensive coordinator. And in year 3, you got him Stephon Diggs. Now, you did just the opposite here. You got Michael Pittman, you gave him a lot of money. Josh Downs, you drafted Adonde Mitchell in the second round. I like all those moves. Jelani Woods, athletic former basketball player. He got injured in preseason. He's out for the whole year. That's unfortunate because he's a young, talented guy. You also have Alex Pierce. You got to figure some things out. Could he develop into a star? Sure. The highlights look great. 9 out of 19 is not going to get it done, especially when you have 3 bombs that probably won't be completed ever again. Love watching him run the ball. Loved watching him in college. Oh, God, he was so much fun. I forget where he went to college at. Denver Gator may be able to help me out. But no idea where he played football at. Denver Gator, can you help me out? Where did Anthony Richardson play ball? So much fun to watch in college. Don't like the way they're using him. They changed some things out. Give him some completions. I don't want to see, like, if all I'm watching every game is him completing bombs, but he's under 50%. They need to change a lot of things. Jonathan Taylor, I think it was 15 carries, 48 yards. He needs to get more involved. Joe Mixon had a game. Leads the NFL in rushing. I don't see him carrying the ball 30 times each week, but he had a game. On the Marvin Harrison Jr. clip, Kyler Murray didn't miss him. He just had no time to get back there because Marvin Harrison Jr. was like the fourth read on that play. This is the whole point of the show, is to get comments like this. Corey is genius, by the way. I really want to get Corey on the show a lot more often, not just in comments, which is fantastic. By the way, I'd love to have you come on and talk about the Arizona Cardinals, because they're a team I'm really looking at. And like, look, Marvin Harrison Jr., 1 catch, 4 yards. That's a mistake. You got to get him the ball more. Dorich had a good game. Not James Conner. I just mentioned him. Your rookie running back out of Florida State. He had some touches. Trey Benson. He's a guy I really am high on. Keep in mind, your first round pick, Darius Robinson, your second first round pick. He's out for a couple of weeks. When he comes back, you can do a little more things defensively. But I didn't know that. And by the way, if he's read number 4, why is he only read number 4? But when Jonah, here's what it looks like to me. It looks like when the Cardinals were going to win this game until Jonah Williams, your starting right tackle, a guy that I always liked. And I understood, even though I didn't have him ranked as the 11th best player in the draft, I had a low first round grade on him. I liked the pick at the time because he was super Mr. Reliable. You know, he never missed a practice, not even one. His whole time in Alabama, first mini camp with Cincinnati, tears his knee up. That's not his fault. It's not the Bengals' fault either, but it kind of feels like if Jonah Williams plays in that game, Cardinals get the upset. Ifs and ands, but yeah. Cardinals probably are a better team than a lot of people thought. I'm a lot higher on the Cardinals than a lot of people. Washington looks like they have a bright future with another great draft. I was thinking the same thing. Their second round pick, it was Jazon Newton, then it was Jeremy Newton. I don't think he played. When he starts playing, the defense will get a little better. They're going to do like a 3 tackle rotation. I don't know why I'm drinking an energy drink. Trust me, I don't need it. Excuse me. Once he plays, the defense will be better. Baker Mayfield, of course, week 1 NFL MVP, deserves to be. This next draft is going to be a heavy defensive draft. And I can see Washington going complete defense and maybe making some moves where they get multiple first-round picks. But yeah, they draft Jaden Daniels. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I think it's 15 carries, 88 yards, had a rushing touchdown. Can't do that. They need to work on that. I would rather see Washington lose by 30 than lose by 17 and have my quarterback get hit. Josh Allen, by the way, injured his hand in that game. I've been on the air for half an hour. Why haven't I talked about Josh Allen's injury yet? Jaden Daniels needs to learn how to slide. I don't want him running the ball that much. Same time, why didn't Tampa Bay use a spy on him? But for the first time since RG3, Washington looks like they got their quarterback. I want to see him run less, but the future this year probably not going to be much, but yeah. I've been saying this for months, and by the way, Denver Gator loves Will Levis, so be careful. Be careful about you trashing Denver Gators boy, but Bears MVP had the terrible pick six. He doesn't make that pass. There's a good chance Titans win that game. The Titans defense really shut down a rookie quarterback and really played really, really well. You may say 24 points. Bears had defensive touchdown and pick six. Will Levis was going down, tried to just throw the ball away so he could save 3 or 4 yards, end up being a pick six. Difference between winning and losing. Plus, the Bears also had I think it was an 88-yard punt return for a touchdown. The Titans. I haven't done my AFC South video, but I've been saying this for a while. The Titans are my favorite, that number 1 overall pick in the draft. I've been hyping up Shiloh Sanders, Deion's son, as a Heisman candidate, but after putting up 10 points against the Nebraska team, who I think is going to be about 7-8 win team. By the way, we're going to talk a lot more college football Wednesday. I have Keaton Talk Sports. He's going to join me for my fantasy football, college football Wednesdays. Nebraska has a freshman quarterback who has a Mahomes type haircut, wears number 15, and plays a little like Mahomes. There's been a lot of comparison videos and stuff on social media, but my point of my rant out left field is that he's probably not going to be number 1 pick in the draft. But could Shiloh Sanders be a first round pick? Yeah. Titans are in trouble. Willis is a project. Green Bay gives court. Yeah, I really like Willis going to Green Bay, and I don't think he's going to be there long term. I think that what Green Bay will do after this year is bring in a veteran quarterback who's familiar with the LaFleur system. I think Willis will probably move on. Willis, if he plays well, may be able to parlay this into a starting opportunity in 2025. Smart pickup by Green Bay, but I think ultimately they just want to get Jordan Love back as fast as possible. Oh my God, I got Big Chief Sean. So Big Chief Sean has his own YouTube channel, and I'm a big fan. He doesn't post enough content. I've been trying to get him on here. Last time I invited him on here, he said he was going to come on, canceled last minute due to technical difficulties. Not mad at you. These things happen, but when he does come on, he's phenomenal. Am I worried about the Chargers? 2024, no. 2025, big time. For those of you who don't know, Chargers played the Raiders. They beat the Raiders. Joe Alt, the 5th overall pick, starting right tackle, played awesome. They isolated him one-on-one against Max Crosby. And when Max Crosby was isolated one-on-one against Joe Alt, 0 sacks. Joe Alt looked really good. The Raiders offense, I live here in Vegas now, Big Chief Sean. So first of all, there's this Raiders YouTuber, and I was going to have him come on the show. Then he was talking about Aiden O'Connell having a lot of Tom Brady type qualities, and I'm like, no. And it looked like Aiden O'Connell was going to get the start early on in training camp because the Raiders went in, they signed Gardner Minshew. Aiden O'Connell started a few games last year, played decently. And I thought the Raiders were going to go with Aiden O'Connell, but instead they went with Gardner Minshew, who I think is a decent player. I think the Colts win the South last year if they had Gardner Minshew as the starter going into the whole season instead of just throwing Anthony Richardson into the starting lineup way before he's ready. Long-winded explanation here. Am I worried about the Chargers this year? No, I'm not, because I knew the Raiders offense was going to be complete garbage. Right? That's an offense that's going to be bad. The defense is good. if you're in a situation like the Bears are in, where you get special teams and defensive touchdown, can they do some things? Sure. Am I worried about the Chargers this year? No. J.K. Dobbins, I've said this so many times. By the way, 4 yards in the first half, and then over 100 in the second half. I think he ended up with like 135 rushing yards on 10 carries. A lot of that was a 61-yard carry. I've said this over and over and over again. J.K. Dobbins, by the way, Keaton Talk Sports loved this because former Ohio State guy. But I loved him coming out of Ohio State because he was a track demon, 190-pound dude coming out of college. And then, coming out of high school, Ohio State first, second year, like 180, 190 pounds. Then when he realized he was going to be the main back, hit the weight room, put on the 20, 25 pounds of muscle. Final year at Ohio State, played at like 215, had almost 2,000 yards, looked phenomenal. The only reason, I think it was an injury issue that kept him into the second round. I have to double check on that. But when healthy, J.K. Dobbins is a top 10 running back in the NFL. That's a fact. Laugh all you want. Watch him play. He's missed more games than he's played healthy. The defense isn't that good. It really isn't. The Raiders' offense is terrible. They need a quarterback. I promise you, the Raiders will draft a quarterback. I mean, I'm going to document this because I'm going to say it again here. I promise you, the Raiders will draft a quarterback in the first round of the 2025 draft. They tried really hard to trade to pick number 2 to get Jaden Daniels. They were a team that was very active in trying to trade. They targeted Jaden Daniels, and they weren't able to pull that off. The Raiders will be a bad team. Am I worried about Chargers this year? No, I'm not. I'm really not. And will this come bite me in the ass? Maybe. I've said things that have been wrong before, maybe once. I mean, I've picked games wrong before, but I will say this. I am so excited to see Big Chief Sean in the chat. I know that you are excited about some afternoon delight. So Big Chief Sean, man, I'm always glad to see you, brother. Always glad to see you, man. I'm gonna also, everybody here, if you haven't already, go check out Big Chief Sean's YouTube channel. When he posts stuff, and he doesn't post near enough, but when he posts stuff, it's really great. Denver Gator says Daniel's looking pretty good. Hope Washington doesn't make him the next RG3. Seriously, if RG3 doesn't let his ego get in the way, if he doesn't have the injuries, he was in a good situation to succeed. I remember Mike Shanahan years later said that what he did is he met with RG3 after the season, and he said that the owner would always use a particular phrase. And RG3, remember RG3's rookie year had the NFL's number 1 selling jersey. There was a lot of hype about him. And I forget what it was, but he said the first time he met with RG3 after the season, he kept on using the same phrase that the owner used. Now, remember, the owner just bought the team. I'm drawing a blank on the owner's name. Had to sell it, and this offseason. I really don't feel like getting into that. But anyway, the owner kept on meeting with RG3. The owner was really hands-on. The owner was basically the general manager. And that was the reason why Marty Schottenheimer was only there for 1 year. Marty Schottenheimer, I think, would have been a phenomenal coach in Washington, but the owner. By the way, if you own an NFL team, if you're going to spend that type of money, you want to be hands-on. If I own an NFL team, I would want to be hands-on. I'm just not going to sit back and let my $1 billion investment go and just watch. By the way, it's a lot of people think that Clark Hunt, the owner of Kansas City Chiefs, doesn't do anything. No, he meets directly with Andy Reid. But anyhow, Mike Shanahan said that RG3 kept on using the same phrase or same wordage or something like that the owner used. And he goes, I have a problem because the owner and RG3 have this really good relationship, and RG3's not, really listening to me as the coach. And by the way, Shanahan left. And it was a shame because you look back, look at that coaching staff that RG3 had there. Sean McVay was there. Mike LaFleur was there. Mike McDaniel was there. Go back, look at that coaching staff. There's like 4 NFL head coaches, including McVay and McDaniel. I mean, they had some bright offensive minds there, and RG3 just let his ego get away. There's a chance RG3 could be a Hall of Fame type quarterback. I just recently found John Gruden started a YouTube channel, and I just fell in love with it. But he had this clip about Andrew Luck, and Andrew Luck's another guy. He was number 1 pick in the draft. RG3 was number 2. Andrew Luck I would love to see Andrew Luck come back into the NFL. I think he can come back in the NFL and be a top 20 quarterback. It's a shame, but yeah, I know. Denver Gator says good to see Red Sea and Perry got some OG diehards in here. Yeah, I really appreciate it. I'm Monday through Friday. However, after realizing that there's so much more football, I may change the format and just go Tuesday through Friday. But next week I'm planning Monday through Friday again. But I may change things up because there's so much more I want to do before I come on. There's so much more football I wanted to watch. I didn't watch as much as I wanted to. And of course, they had all the primetime games. I also want to go back and watch Pittsburgh, Atlanta, mainly because the clips I saw of Russell Wilson on. So and what somebody tweeted out, a Steelers player, that Russell Wilson looked fine in practice. So I kind of want to dive into that. But every clip I saw Russell Wilson on the sidelines, he looked pissed. He looked legitimately pissed. He was not engaged with the team. He was not engaged with Justin Fields, and I think that's a problem. If I'm going to go, I do want to say this before I end hour number 1. I just want to say that I 100% believe the Steelers should start Justin Fields and just release Russell Wilson. I think sign Ryan Tannehill, Cam Newton. Blaine Gabbert was the Chiefs' backup quarterback. Blaine Gabbert has a pair of Super Bowl rings. He was backup quarterback for Tom Brady in Tampa Bay. Last year backed up Patrick Mahomes. I was kind of surprised nobody's called him. I don't think he's retired. I could be wrong. I would really, really love to see the Steelers just move on from Russell Wilson and say Justin Fields. Because here's the problem. You bring in Arthur Smith, formerly of the Atlanta Falcons. Okay? You bring in Arthur Smith, then you spend all your time with one quarterback, then he misses some time, so you let Justin Fields. No, you should give Justin Fields just put him in there, make him starter, give him 100% of the reps, build the offense around Justin Fields. If it doesn't work, draft a quarterback in the first round. Move on from Russell Wilson. Let me ask you something. What would be so bad about bringing in Cam Newton instead? Because from what I saw of Russell Wilson, he's not helping this team at all. And I know a lot of people are thinking, just let Russell Wilson, when he's healthy, he's going to be a starter. Why? TJ Watt looked like a defensive player of the year award winner too. Perry says the Dallas defense looks better than last year. Zimmer will keep Dallas defense good. The young players in Dallas's offensive line will get better with reps and experience. I agree with all of that. The one thing I'll say is that when I heard Cleveland starting two tackles were out. This a Denver Gator. It might be it might be me. It's internet connection. I have Cox Communication. They're terrible. So hit me up and let me know if you're still having some issues. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do today, but I might have to go with a different service. So, but once I saw that their tackles were out, I'm kind of ignoring week one with Dallas and Cleveland. A lot of people are looking at Cleveland and going, just going, this is a trash team. Well, let's get their starting tackles back. How good is this team going to be when you get your starting tackles back and you get your best offensive player in Nick Chubb? Deshaun Watson was banged up in preseason. I was worried about that. Didn't look really comfortable, but I'm blaming the tackles. The offensive line will continue to improve. I really, about that game, I have the full game on DVR. I'm not going to watch the whole thing, but I do want to watch Dallas's offense because I want to see if I'm right about Tyler Guyton being a Pro Bowl caliber left tackle. Yeah, they should have drafted one. Perry says Dallas needs a young running back in the draft. I think they should have drafted one this year. Jonathan Brooks, the Texas running back. Carolina grabbed him, I think, a little early. I think he was the 46th overall pick in the draft. Keys, the K and the Backtalk brothers, he hit me up about Iowa State. He's a big Iowa fan. Don't bring up to him that Iowa State beat Iowa again, but he hit me up and he's like, this Iowa State running back, you need to keep an eye out on him. And I was like, I'll check the game out. I have it on DVR. I haven't had a chance to watch it. At Denver Gator, what do you think of Denver's first game in Knicks? I think Knicks will get better with reps. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, if I do this, it's not, I have a kind of wobbly table. I'll try not to do this. Yeah. Cause when I move around that, so I'll work, I can actually improve on that. Not right now, but the way I have the table set up, I didn't realize that. So that might be on me. I liked both. I have to be careful because I like putting my elbows on the table. I didn't realize it was shaking. So also didn't realize you could. Yeah. I liked what I saw out of Bo Nix. Dan, the numbers look bad. You lost to a Seattle team. I'm not worried about any of that. They didn't lean on the running game, which I thought was a mistake. However, out of all the rookie quarterbacks, the only one that looked really comfortable in from limited, because here's what I did. After I finished watching the Raiders and Chargers, I went back on the Red Zone and I watched everything I could of Denver, Seattle, and just Bo Nix. Bo Nix is the only rookie quarterback that looked comfortable, that looked like he was prepared. He looked like he was ready. That spin move to get into the end zone was really cool. He had a really nice rushing touchdown. Here's the drill. I think that what they should have leaned on the run more. They didn't want to do that. They threw him out into the fire, and he didn't look bad. He's the only rookie quarterback that looked like he belonged. I'm not worried about the stats. I'm not worried about the wins. Out of all the rookie quarterbacks, Bo Nix looked the best. And I know Jaden Daniels had 15 carries, 88 yards. I don't want to see him doing that ever again. Reason why? I watched Josh Allen do that. Josh Allen's hands messed up. Is he going to continue playing? Sure. But week one and Josh Allen's banged up already. What happened with Kyler Murray last year? I mean, he missed most of the season, because he runs around too much. Part of that's offensive line issues, but I really was very, very impressed. We'll see what Dane. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, Red Sea, Corey. I'm gonna let you know right now. I was never high on Billy Napier. I think Florida needs to hire a big time head coach. I've been telling Denver Gator this privately. I've been telling Denver Gator this for a while. I really thought that if Deion Sanders can get Colorado to 7 or 8 wins, get to a bowl game, get a couple of players into the NFL, which he's going to. Travis Hunter's going to be a top 10 pick, barring injury. His son, I still think could be a first-round quarterback. We'll have to wait and see on that one. I think Deion Sanders would have been a great spot for University of Florida. Some big names. I don't know if you saw this last time I was on or not, but I said Terrell Austin. Denver Gator knew that Terrell Austin was defensive coordinator when Will Muschamp was there. I forgot about that, but I knew he was defensive coordinator for Terrell Austin's the defensive coordinator in Pittsburgh. That's an interesting name. Here's the biggest name that I can think of off the top of my head, and he's having some success in Boston College. It's Bill O'Brien. I think Bill O'Brien in Florida would be awesome. Remember, he was at Penn State, did a good job there. That's how he got the Houston Texans job. He was going to let me see if I got the story right here. If I remember correctly, Bill O'Brien was going to be the offensive coordinator at Ohio State. When Jeff Hafley, the former Boston College head coach, left for Green Bay, Bill O'Brien decided to leave the Ohio State job for Boston College. Hopefully I got that all correct. Currently, Boston College is ranked. They play somebody this week. I should know this, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. Bill O'Brien would be a big name. Deion Sanders would be a big name. And here's the drill with University of Florida. They need a big name more than they need a good coach. I know that sounds a little silly because Florida has deep pockets. They can get some spending. They need players, and you need a big name. Billy Napier's not it. He needs to go, and he won't last. Oh, that's awesome. Bowers looked good in his first game. He's one of the only bright spots for Las Vegas. I thought Christian Wilkins played really well. Christian Wilkins is a guy that looks like could be a stud. Tyree Wilson, remember they used first-round pick on him. A lot of upside coming out Texas Tech. It was coming off an injury, but like the film on him looked phenomenal at his best. And then I was kind of excited because you had Max Crosby, you had Tyree Wilson, you had Christian Wilkins. Like you had some players. And then Tyree Wilson went down like almost instantly. And then after Tyree Wilson went down, another one of their defensive ends went down. Max Crosby had some issues against Joe Alt, which was a big plus for the Chargers. 5th overall pick looked like they hit. Looked like they hit. And looks like a lot of people were talking about the Chargers drafting a receiver at number 5. I'm like, no, they're not going to do that. More than likely, they're going to trade down, try to stockpile that roster full of Michigan Wolverines. They ended up not doing that. They stayed at 5. They took all plug and play at right tackle. Rashad Slater, former first-round pick, left side, he played really well too. The offensive line looked good. Justin Herbert looked good. He had some drops from his receivers, but Brock Bowers, that offense is bad. Luke Getsy fired by Chicago. Justin Fields wasn't able to utilize Justin Fields correctly. You go to the Raiders. you have a quarterback battle, which is never good, especially when you're an offensive coordinator. I'm going to try to explain this here. When you bring in a new offensive coordinator, you don't want a quarterback battle. It's the last thing you want because you're trying to implement a new offense. You're trying to implement new terminology. You're trying to implement new tactics. You're trying to build continuity. You can't have a quarterback battle. And that's what the Raiders did. And it shows. Gardner Minshew's not the guy. If Aiden O'Connell was the guy, he would have been the guy. And I thought early on it looked like Aiden O'Connell was going to win that battle. Of course, that Raiders YouTuber compared him to Tom Brady. I don't know what to tell you, but live and learn. But Bowers has some talent. Their other tight end, Mayer, I love that dude coming out of Notre Dame. I love that dude. I like the fact that they went a lot of 12 personnel. They have another tight end too. So they saw some 13 personnel. They need some help, but Bowers looked good. He's in the wrong scheme. I guarantee you, unless there's dramatic improvement, I guarantee the Raiders are going to go with a new offensive coordinator, and they're going to do everything they can to draft a quarterback. And we're going to dive into that because there's some quarterbacks that are going to be available. Of course, Deion's kid, after that 10-point performance against Nebraska, may not be the Heisman Trophy winning number one pick in the draft that I was thinking he would be. Perry says the Saints look great. The Saints could challenge for the division if Carr stays healthy. Absolutely. Keep in mind that 47-point performance is kind of an anomaly. It's not going to last. It's not going to always be there. But and by the way, I apologize. I didn't realize how behind I was on comments. I wasn't sure how many I would get, so I apologize for that. But yeah, I do want to. I'm going to answer all questions. I'm going to go down everything. But by the way, this is awesome. This is awesome. Florida is abysmal. I do think this is an anomaly. Perry. I don't think this is going to last. I don't think that. I think this is just one of those week one things. But one thing is that, so for those of you that don't know, Clint Kubiak took over as the offensive coordinator. They're going to go downfield a little more. He came over from San Francisco. They're going to use more of a run-based offense. It's going to be more running. Alvin Kamara had a really good game. The offensive line, which is banged up, looked pretty good against a depleted Panthers defense. I need to see a lot more from the Saints. But great week one. So, but I want to see a lot more. I'm not sold on them yet. Houston looks solid from top to bottom. Those bombs that Anthony Richardson had, I think that was some blown coverages. The way that defense is set up, it's designed. I think they challenged Anthony Richardson to kind of beat him deep. So. Listen, I am going to, we finished with the first hour. I'm going to bring up a very short commercial break, and I will get back. I'm going to answer all comments here, but I'm just going to take a quick commercial break, and I'll be right back. Mom, meatloaf. Can we get some meatloaf? Hi, I'm Daniel Andrews, owner and creator of Dan Talks Football. Did you know that over 750 million Americans each year get anal probed by aliens? Well, I'm here to help. When you subscribe to Dan Talks Football, it is over 69% less likely that you get anal probed by extraterrestrials. So stay safe during this football season and hit that subscribe button. Just a friendly reminder that my weekly picks video will be coming out tomorrow, 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific. My award-winning picks video is one to watch. What awards did it win? Check this out. It's going to be great. Check it out tomorrow. All right, we're back from a quick commercial break here. I hope you all enjoyed it. Hour 2 of Afternoon Delight starts, man. I got behind on questions. I'm so excited. I wasn't sure what kind of feedback and questions I would get, so I'm really behind. I apologize. I'm going to get through them all. I want to see more from the Houston Texans. I want to see more. Gave up some big plays that they shouldn't have. Joe Mixon looks good. CJ Stroud looks good. Texans play the Bears. Should be an easy win. Red seed expectations are a little higher this season, but I think we'll get a lot better. Yeah. Harrison was a non-factor. Yeah, I will break it down because I love Dan Orlovsky. 1 catch, 4 yards. You need to see more than that. But I don't know if you win by 30, but I 100% believe that you do win that game. Perry says the Seahawks defense was great. Geno's a solid quarterback, and Walker the third is a star running back. One of my longtime subscribers. I haven't seen him in the comments yet today, but I was just seeing look at his Instagram tweets because he's a big Michigan State fan. Loved Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker looked like a Heisman candidate his final year at Michigan State for a while. Had no show against Ohio State. Nothing wrong about that. He looked really good. I was really disappointed. I thought Denver's defense would be a lot better, but I was really impressed with what Geno Smith in the Seattle offense was able to do. Not sold on Seattle at all, but yeah. Absolutely. Allen has that hand injury. I don't think he's going to miss any games, so he's not going to be 100%. Rhinos Roundtable. What is up, brother? I know my Colts lost, but if AR stays healthy, I think we could be really good. How about Colts versus Texans in future matchups? What a great game. It was a great game. The talent's there. I'm not happy that he went 9 out of 19. That's not good. Not good at all. The bombs, I gotta see more. I like the fact that they leaned on the running game. The run defense, I don't know what to think, but I'm going to lean that. I always thought Mixon could have done so much more in Cincinnati and never really got it done. I mean, 159 yards on 30 carries. I'm leaning towards Colts defense needs to step up a little bit, but it was a great game. When these two play, it's a fun game. I mean, I think they play again the final week of the season, and it's going to be a good game. Titans defense really played lights out. Did a really good job. I think Caleb Williams not really prepared. He tried that scrambling around crap and had a 20-yard loss. and I kept on saying this over and over again, Will Levis is not the right fit as the quarterback, and it's going to continue. There's going to be some growing pains there, and this could be a terrible year for Tennessee. Perry asked a great question. Which favorite for tonight's game, Jets or 49ers? So I made a video about my first $100 deposit into BetUS, and I said I was going to take the Jets in this game. I'm going to backtrack. I'm probably not going to put any action on tonight's game, but I like the Jets. Not only do I like the Jets to cover 4, I really like I like the Jets overall. I think Jets are going to win this game. I like the defense. I like the defense. I think Rodgers is going to play well. All the primetime games have been great. I mean, I was expecting to spend most of hour 1 recapping what a great game it was on Sunday night. I haven't even talked about it yet. But I mean, you have a situation where all the primetime games have been fantastic. You have that overtime victory. Great job by the Lions, by the way. The game in Brazil between the Eagles and the Packers. What a great game that was. Saquon Barkley's performance kind of been shoved under the radar. I thought he didn't. I knew he had 3 touchdowns. A buddy of mine had him on fantasy football. Great pickup and great win for him, hopefully. So he had over 100 yards rushing, 3 total touchdowns. And then, of course, the Chiefs Ravens game comes down to a toenail. I mean, so this is going to be a great game. It's going to be a great game. So, but yeah, I like the Jets. I like the Jets. I'm higher on the Jets than most people, but I think Aaron Rodgers is going to play well. Doesn't get hurt again. Joe Alt was the best. He was the best tackle in the draft. Latham had some issues week 1, but went against a much. I don't know if you would say that the Bears are a much better defense, but the Bears do have pretty good defense. I mean, the thing with the Bears is that the defense is going to be solid. The offense has to get better. The Raiders' defense, I think, is good. That offense is terrible, but Joe Alt is phenomenal. And your question, who are the top rookies from week 1? Joe Alt. That's kind of a no-brainer. He played phenomenal. Is a tackle going to be rookie of the year? No, but maybe he should be. Dallas Turner had a sack against the Giants. Neighbors had a few receptions. But I mean, the top rookies. Quinion Mitchell made some plays, gave up some plays, but overall I liked the way he played. Xavier Worthy, of course, had a couple touchdowns against the Ravens. That's exciting, but when Hollywood Brown, who Hollywood Brown might play next week against the Bengals, with Xavier Worthy, I think that was more of a flash. I don't think he's going to have 2 touchdowns every single game. Would I love it if a rookie comes in the NFL and scores 30 touchdowns in a season? Yeah, great. Do I think it'll happen? No. When I outweigh you and you play in the NFL, that's not a good thing, and that's kind of what we're looking at. So, but Xavier Worthy looked really good. Quinion Mitchell looked really good. Joe Alt, I think, was the best. Joe Alt, I really think might have been the best. Dallas Turner had a sack. I probably won't go back and watch that whole Vikings-Giants game. I know Neighbors had a few receptions, but we'll see what happens. Denver Gator says Florida sucks. I know I have to hear about Napier for the rest of the season. Lagway looked great as advertised. I think Meats gets start backs next week. Hope DJ gets a starter soon. It's going to be a long season if you're a Gators fan. Like I said, you got to get a big name. You're a big time program. You got to get a big time name. I know that. I understand that you wanted to get an X's and O's guy and just bring in players. College football's always been more about recruiting than X's and O's. Spurrier's was not. You can say what you want. I'm gonna tell you, Spurrier was not an X's and O's dude. He was just a dude who brought in guys, had some great press conferences, and that's what you need to get back to. That's what you need to get back to. If you want a great, I will say this: Bill O'Brien's a good X's and O's guy. I know you know it. When I do my college football show on Wednesday, I got Keaton from Keaton Talk Sports is going to join me. The Ohio State offensive coordinator was at UCLA. Chip Kelly, he might be a guy too. Pats played great. Stevenson was like Ramondre Stevenson, big game. Both offenses looked really bad. Keon White, 2.5 sacks, if I'm correct, looked really good. Keon here, he's a guy that if he gets it all together, all the talent in the world. Keon White, former college tight end, transferred. Former college tight end switched to defensive end, then transfers to Georgia Tech. And what I loved is that when he was at Georgia Tech, they used him everywhere. He was like 6'5", 285, used him at outside linebacker, nose tackle, defensive end. Went to the perfect spot in New England. Didn't play at all last year. He's going to replace Matthew Judon and played phenomenal. Stevenson, if he's healthy, he's going to have a huge year. I don't think he's going to stay healthy playing like that, taking all that punishment. But for week one, and if you can somehow get into the playoffs, you want to use Stevenson. He's got to be your bell cow back. They got some young players at receiver, the Patriots do, but they need Stevenson to play that way. This is awesome. Denver Gator says, I think Deshaun Watson gets traded to the Raiders next season for 2 7th-rounders and a foot long. I'm gonna say this. I want to wait until both the tackle, because it wasn't just one, it was both tackles. And you're going against a good pass rush, and you don't have Nick Chubb. I want to wait till both tackles are there, and I want to wait till Nick Chubb. If once those things happen, if Deshaun Watson looks lost, remember they're bringing in new offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt, left to go to New England. Kevin Stefanski's an offensive-minded guy, but we'll have to wait and see. I do know this: the Raiders are going to do something. The Raiders are going to do something. But I think Deshaun Watson, I think the way the contract's set up, I think he's stuck in Cleveland for the next couple of years. Just because he's stuck there doesn't mean he has to be a starting quarterback. But I think the problem's more with the offensive line and running backs, but it's disheartening. I'm not on the all woe is lost for the Browns. Not yet, but the offensive tackles have to get healthy. Once Nick Chubb comes back, let's see what you get. But this is just Denver Gator is just on fire today. Denver Gator is on fire. I love it. I absolutely love it. NFL owners, yeah, that's all it is. Billionaire fantasy football owners. Some know more about football than others. Mike Brown Paul Brown's son. For those of you who don't know the story, Paul Brown created the Cleveland Browns. Probably nobody more influential in the NFL than Paul Brown. Sold the team to Art Modell, but in selling the team, he made a deal with Art Modell that he would get to be the coach for as long as he wanted to. Then Art Modell fired him, so he created the Bengals, passed the team on to his son. His son runs the team just like the Steelers, just like the Cowboys. He's just not public. He is the general manager, knows football as well as anybody, not just a fancy football dude. Doesn't get as much credit because he likes to stay out of the limelight. Clark Hunt, owner of the Chiefs, has Andy Reid report directly to him, not the general manager. He reports the Chiefs have a weird power structure. Both the general manager and the head coach report directly to the owner. The owner likes hosting those trophies, doesn't really get involved in it that much. I will say this, when they drafted FAU 2 years ago, the local kid, when the Chiefs hosted the draft, I thought maybe there was some owner involvement. But yeah, remember the Panthers owner was really sold on Bryce Young. There was some talk that Frank Reich, who was brought in, liked CJ Stroud better. But the Panthers owner really wanted to go all in on Bryce Young. Remember, the Titans owner forced the Titans to take Vince Young over Matt Leinart, even though like they brought over the USC offensive coaching staff. They all wanted Matt Leinart. They built the offense around a guy like Matt Leinart, and the owner's like, no, I want Vince Young. Yeah. But yeah, listen, if you are a billionaire and you own an NFL team, are you just going to sit back or, whatever? This is awesome. I love Perry. I think Watson has done the clowns. He never wanted to be there in the first place. I really want to wait till they get both tackles healthy and Nick Chubb, then we can figure it out. His final game of the year before he was out was against the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens messed him up so bad that knocked him out for the rest of the year. But in that game, he had one of the greatest games of all time and led them to a victory. The Browns do a victory over the Ravens. Ravens had the best record in football last year at 13-4. Browns went into, I think it's called M&T Bank Stadium, something stupid like that. Played phenomenal. Got injured. Flacco took over. They had some fun times. Of course, lost in the playoffs. But I think this is a slight overreaction. But they need to play better, and they need to play better fast. The one thing I will say is if you take a look at the AFC North, right? Ravens lost. Bengals lost. Browns lost. Steelers won. With a backup quarterback. So I'm not, I mean, look, I mean, I'm not that worried if I'm the Browns. I think you can afford to wait. I really do. I really think that. So the ration. So I'm going to go with what I heard, and that's I'm going to go with what the Steelers officially said, was that Russell Wilson was injured, so they went with Justin Fields, but Wilson's going to start. I think it's a mistake, and I think it's a big mistake. By the way, one pride, you were the one I was talking about, the Kenneth Walker fan. You were the one that was talking about Kenneth Walker. I love that's early. That's crazy. So this fall, I'm bringing you some afternoon delight. You're in the Eastern time zone, so it's 4 to 7, but I'm here in Vegas, so it's 1 to 4. I'm calling it afternoon delight, 3 full hours of football talk, Monday through Friday. I'm thinking about tweaking it to start on Tuesday. That way I could watch more football because I didn't get a chance to watch a lot of the games. I just watched the red zone. Of course, I watched all of Lions Rams. What a great game. I can't wait to watch the 49ers and Jets. I watched all of Raiders Chargers. Ugly game, but wildly entertaining. I do have a lot of games on DVR, but I didn't get a chance to watch a lot of the afternoon games. So I might tweak it, but next week I'll be on Monday through Friday as well. So the Steelers said that they're going to go back to Russell Wilson officially, depending on his status. I don't think they should. I think they should implement Fields as much as possible and see what you have. Because let's just say Fields is successful. Can you sign him cheap? And when I say cheap, I mean, can you sign him for less than $50 million, which is what the going rate for all these quarterbacks are? I've been on the air for over almost an hour and a half. I haven't even talked about Dak Prescott's contract yet. 4 years, $250 million. I've been saying this for a while. Dak Prescott will get paid, and he will get paid by Dallas Cowboys. He will get paid a lot. 4 years, $250 million. Is it too much? Not enough? I don't know. Cowboys win a Super Bowl, then fine. Bottom line, let's just say you're Justin Fields. All right. Baker Mayfield signed, I think it was a 3-year, $110 million deal. Let's go cheaper than that. Let's look at the Raiders. They gave Gardner Minshew a 2-year, $25 million deal. Okay. If I'm the Steelers, I right now, today, I just cut Russell Wilson. From what I saw on the sidelines, he looked like a liability. Now, one thing you have to understand is Arthur Smith coming in as your new offensive coordinator. Most of the reps this offseason went to Russell Wilson because they're trying to get Russell Wilson ready for the season, not Justin Fields. But Justin Fields had a few reps. Here's what you do if you're the Steelers. Here's what I would do. I would release Russell Wilson today. I'd kick him out of the building. I don't want him interacting with the team. I don't want him involved with the team. I build this around Justin Fields. I would bring in Ryan Tannehill. For whatever reason, nobody's picked him up. I would bring in Cam Newton. Blaine Gabbert, backup quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs last year. I would bring him in. I would make some calls and see if somebody wants to make a trade. Maybe somebody like Carson Wentz for the Kansas City Chiefs. I doubt the Chiefs would let Wentz go, but I would make some calls. I would say Ryan Tannehill because Ryan Tannehill's familiar with Arthur Smith's system. I don't know why they haven't brought him in already, but that's what I would do. I would go all in on Justin Fields. And if he's not your guy, he's only on contract for 1 year. Get rid of him, just like Russell Wilson. Keeping Russell Wilson does nothing. And unless they're firmly convinced that Russell Wilson can do more. I know a lot of people think that you should give Russell Wilson a fair chance. I don't. I saw enough, and I said this after the first preseason game. I saw enough out of Justin Fields. Build the offense around him. Put him in a room with Arthur Smith and just say, hey, look, let's just figure this out. Bring in Ryan Tannehill, who's familiar with this offense, have him come in and help out. That's what I would do. We'll keep an eye out. Pittsburgh's the only team that won a game in the AFC North. Crown them as the AFC North champs. Headers out 710. Go Lions. You know what? I was planning on leading off talking about the Lions Rams because what a great game. What a great game. Up 17-3 in the third quarter. Matthew Stafford, 4 offensive linemen out. 4 of the starters are out. You're down by 2 touchdowns against a team that traded you away. You lead them back. You clearly outplay Goff. There's no debate Stafford's better than Goff. There's no doubt that Stafford outplayed Goff. Got hurt, gutted it out, missing 4 starters in the offensive line. Puka Nakuda out early. 4th down reception, a 4th down play early in the game. Cooper Kupp drops it. What happens? I think it was like 3 or 4 plays later. Jameson Williams has a 60-yard reception. By the way, Jameson Williams over 100 yards, first time in his career, does it on prime time. Great job, Jameson Williams. Game goes into overtime. You get the ball, and what do? You do the smart thing. You put in David Montgomery. Run, pass. Run in the end zone. Genius. Great job. Go Lions. Great win. I would not be at all surprised if you see a rematch of week 1 in the AFC Championship game. By the way, did you know week 1 Baltimore played Houston? They met in the playoffs. I would not be surprised if you see another Rams-Lions game in the playoffs. What a great game. What a great game. Go Lions. Great job. Great job. Great win. And your number 1 opponent is in the NFC North is the Green Bay Packers. I mean, Jordan Love's going to be out for a couple of weeks. Did you watch Chicago beat the Titans and go, oh no, I'm scared of the Bears. I'm scared of Caleb Williams, 14 for 29 for 93 yards. No. Did you watch Minnesota and go, oh no, that defense can shut us down because they shut down by the way, the Giants, the only thing uglier in the uniforms was how bad they played. Probably not scared. So, yeah. I need to watch that because I know Watson played bad. I mean, look, you have a really good defensive pass rush against 2 backup tackles, not just 1, 2. But from the box score, it looks like the defense wasn't bad. I'll need to watch that. But if the Browns defense was good, then I think if you're a Cleveland fan, I'm not overreacting. I'm not that worried because you're gonna get your tackles back. You're gonna get Nick Chubb back. I'm okay. I'm also okay with Baltimore and Cincinnati losing week 1. Cincinnati comes into Arrowhead. I think Baltimore plays Dallas. That's going to be a fun game. Is that right? I haven't done my week 2 picks video yet. But yeah. Anthony Fitzpatrick, go Lions. What a great game. I want to watch Rams, Lions every year that Stafford's with the Lions. I want him to come back to Detroit every year. It's just awesome. Just awesome. Stafford's a better quarterback. Lions have a better team.
very behind on comments, but thank you all for being patient with me. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. I was going to talk about this so much, but I mean Stafford, 4 backup offensive linemen, Puka Nakata, I'm butchering the name, out. 34 out of 49, 317. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The one thing I forgot to bring this up, and I made a few notes about this game, but I almost forgot about this. A few things. Marcus Davenport, if he's healthy, he can't stay healthy, but if he stays healthy, he's an addition. Levi Ozarike, a player I loved coming out of Washington, I thought was going to get cut. He had an impact. Matter of fact, he rolled on Stafford, injured his ankle, but Stafford's tough with 99-cent steak. Ozarike played well. Marcus Davenport played well. So Tyrion Arnold, if you're not familiar, he was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, the number 1 free safety in all of maybe a top rated prospect coming out of high school. And by the way, Nick Saban, his recruiting pitch was, hey, my average defensive starter makes like $9 million a year. And so Tyrion Arnold comes to Alabama, plays well as a true freshman. Safety, plays really well. I mean, Brian Branch. That's another name. Another Alabama safety. By the way, Brian Branch played really well. Almost had a couple picks. Nobody in Kansas City likes Brian Branch, but bad joke. But I didn't realize how big he was. Now, I watched him play, and then they moved him from safety to corner, and I thought he may have some growing pains. But I watched him on the field, and I'm like, I watched him at the combine. I watched him in college. I don't know if it's just the number 0. I don't know if it's Honolulu blue. By the way, the Honolulu all blue is awesome. I know you have a black alternate uniform, which looks like garbage. Please don't wear that. But the Honolulu blue is just phenomenal. The Rams uniforms, they went back to that old school Rams uniforms, not the gold that the Greatest Show on Turf had. But the old school looks awesome. Both uniforms look awesome. Beanie Buster, what's up, brother? Congratulations on a great win, great game. Yeah, Perry, you're right. Florida needs a big name that can coach. I am so behind on comments, so I apologize. A big name that can coach, yeah. Bill O'Brien is probably the biggest name who knows his X's and O's. I don't think you need a big name who can coach. I think you need a big name and you need to get players there. Billy Napier's not it. I didn't like the hire. Denver Gator did because he liked the guy who can bring in X's and O's. I don't think you need an X's and O's guy. I think you just need a big name. I think you need an entertaining name. Dion can somehow get Colorado to 7 to 8 wins. I don't know if he can. That would be somebody. Right now, Bill O'Brien, he's not staying at Boston College long. I'm glad you like it. TJ Watt looks like Defensive Player of the Year. He was just everywhere. The Falcons' offense looks really disconjointed. Keep in mind, Kirk Cousins didn't play at preseason at all, coming off the Achilles injury. But, yeah. Steelers defense looks really good. Parsons was on Taylor. Yeah, Parsons had a great game. Bears won after being behind by. Yeah, I know. Can't bank on it. Can't bank on it. Jameson Williams. As a matter of fact, I got all the numbers up here. Jameson Williams, 5 receptions, 121 yards, and a touchdown, and he also had 1 carry for 13 yards. I said this last time I was on, and I'm kind of going to stand by this. This offseason, you picked up Tim Patrick from released by Denver, and the one thing about Tim Patrick is that if he stays healthy, he's a solid number 2. You got Jahmyr Gibbs, you got Laporta, you gave Amon-Ra St. Brown a massive contract, 3 catches, 13 yards. That shouldn't happen again. But here's the drill. If they use Jameson Williams like they did, then you got something. I mean, he was first round pick. You traded up 20 spots in the first round to get him. But what I said was at the beginning of the year is that before the season started, I said I wouldn't be surprised if you move Jameson Williams. You trade him at the trade deadline, because you have all these other pieces and it didn't seem like you wanted to use them. Well, this game you utilized him. But let me ask you this here. Let me just throw this out there. You have to, in 2026, you're going to give Jared Goff over $69 million. Let's say the NFL salary cap's $300 million, which is fair, probably a number too high. 69 is over 20%. It's almost 25%. It's almost a quarter. That's it. That's your salary. That's 69 million. You gave Amon-Ra 112 million. You gave Penei Sewell 110 million. I don't know what those cap numbers are in 2026, but between those 3 guys, you're probably using over a third of your salary cap. Jameson Williams has value. You got weapons. Is there a team out there that wouldn't mind trading for a guy like Jameson Williams? I seriously think I think this is an anomaly. I don't expect Jameson Williams to blow up like this again. I think Amon-Ra will have a much better game. By the way, after giving him, what was it, 112 million, you get 3 catches for 13 yards. Yeah, I need more. Laporta had a good game, 4 catches, 45 yards. But I know some of you Lions fans are talking about him being, the best tight end in football. This isn't it. I like how you use Montgomery more than you use Gibbs. I know a lot of you have been pushing for just the opposite, but I think that this is what you do when it's crunch time. You lean on Montgomery and not Gibbs. So since you have this film out, if you're a team that needs an offensive weapon and you have Jameson Williams, let me throw this out there. What about a team like Pittsburgh that needs another offensive player? Would you trade? When if you get a player in return? When Highsmith, the other defensive end, you're not trading Jameson Williams, getting T.J. Watt, even though T.J. Watt and Hutchinson would be a lot of fun. But what if you get a player? What if you get a second round pick? I'm just spitballing here. I'm gonna let you know right now. I think that this is kind of an anomaly. I would not be surprised if Jameson Williams doesn't go over 100 yards for the rest of the year. But if it's here to stay, I think it's exciting. I will say this, against a team that's banged up like the Rams was after that 17-3 lead, it shouldn't have gone into overtime, but I love the way the Lions handled it in overtime. Nothing. They did a lot of different things during the game. Game's on the line. Let's run the ball. Let's use this offensive line. Forget about being cute. Jameson Williams didn't touch the ball in overtime. Lean on Montgomery. Love it. How about those Spartans? Yes. So I saw your clip on Instagram. Michigan State 2-0, beat Maryland. I don't know you played week 1, but I think it's good for the Big Ten, which now has 24 teams in it. I'm being facetious, but I mean USC beat LSU, which is big. I think UCLA had a win. Michigan, of course, had a loss, and I feel we're by the way, we're going to talk a lot of college football Wednesday. I have Keaton from Keaton Talk Sports. He's going to join me, but really excited. Wednesday is going to be my college football show, so we'll talk a lot about Michigan State and in college football. But I know you're a Michigan State fan, you're 2-0. It's a good feeling. Enjoy it. Your Lions are 1-0. Your Chiefs are 1-0, and your Spartans are 2-0. It's a good time to be one pride. I love when one pride's here. Do they really? I was not aware of that. I'm going to check out Michigan State's roster because we're going to do a lot more college stuff. We're going to do a lot more draft. We're going to do a lot more than we've done in the past with college football and with the draft. So I'm really excited about that. But we're going to do that Wednesday. But I'm glad you. Let me know what players I should be looking at Michigan State because I wasn't aware. The receiver that's in Green Bay, and I'm drawing a complete blank on that kid's name, the Michigan Jalen Reed. I remember watching him being really impressed. So, did you think Cousins looks rusty, conservative, scared, just typical slow start per usual? Of Cousins, this is a great question, Denver Gator. Cousins didn't play in preseason at all. I know why they drafted Penix, and I kept on hearing it more and more as time went on about why they chose Penix, because they're like, oh, we're not picking in the top 10 again. Oh, are you sure? So that's why you take Penix, draft your guy now. But you signed Cousins to a 4-year deal. And the one thing you're missing was a pass rusher, which Dallas Turner, in my opinion, he was the best defensive player in the draft. By the way, if you're a Lions fan and you're telling me, well, Terrion Arnold's the best player in the draft, like we'll wait and see. Quinion Mitchell was my number one corner. Both Mitchell and Arnold played really well week 1. One thing I will say is that I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I thought I was really impressed with the Lions secondary, but Branch looks like he can make plays, and Terrion Arnold is a dude who looked physically imposing. Like that's a big corner, and I know he's an athlete. So anyways, so as far as Kirk Cousins is concerned, I'm you got he didn't play at all in preseason. He's coming off an injury. You drafted Penix with 8th pick in the draft. I thought it was a mistake. I thought it was a huge mistake. I still think it's a mistake. Does he look rusty? Yeah. Is it a slow start? Maybe. I mean, you have a lot of people started getting really high on the Falcons once they traded for Judon and once they signed Simmons. There's more and more hype about the Falcons. But the one thing you can't really overlook is that the Falcons had a really, really good opportunity to get an elite pass rusher instead of using up a draft pick in 2025. When they drafted Penix with the 8th overall pick, you make a move like that when you're building for the future. And the thing is about the Falcons is I'm looking at that NFC South, and yeah, I know the Saints won by 1 million, but I'm gonna delete. So somebody put in a all right, so I apologize here. Somebody I don't recognize this person, so somebody put in a comment on here, and I don't know who this is, but somebody put in some comment I really didn't appreciate. I don't know what it is. And it's really weird because it's on Twitch. Bear with me here. All right. So because it's on Twitch, I don't know how to delete it. So that's interesting. Somebody I think's putting a porn link on. So please don't. There's some jerk put a. It's on my Twitch. So what I had to switch and go off from instead of going on Twitter because they switched it. You have to be on a business account. I'm on Twitch. I may switch to going live on Discord. I just don't use Discord that much. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. But as far as Cousins, coming off of an injury, not playing in preseason, I'm going to assume that there's some issues. I think he looked rusty. Not really unexpected. You're also playing against a really good defense. TJ Watt was just dominant. There was some good things. I saw out of the Falcons offense. But John Robinson played well, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm going to kind of give the Falcons. Here's the drill. I was ready to crown the Falcons as the NFC South champs and look at them as a team beating the NFC if they would have drafted Dallas Turner. But instead they went with Penix. They're building for the future. So I'm kind of at a loss of what the Falcons are trying to do. And I'm still confused about everything that's going on. Cousins, I don't think he's going to be good the first couple of weeks, but after he gets comfortable in that offense, yeah. Rusty, yes. Conservative, scared, I don't know yet. I want to see more. I really want to see more. But am I happy with 10 points at home? No. God. This is just I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to just cut people off on Aiden Hutchinson had a good game. But I really like the fact that you got Ozarike involved. You got Davenport involved. Davenport, all he has to do. By the way, like athleticism, pure athlete. Marcus Davenport's a much better athlete than Hutchinson. Pure athleticism. But is he going to stay healthy? Probably not. Do I count on Hutchinson to play the whole season? Yeah. I really do. So I really, really, really do. I'm writing this down. One Pride, I am having a special on Wednesday. So on Wednesday, I'm doing a college football special. I'm going to keep these comments here because I'm going to go back and take a look at them. I really, really want to see more Michigan State. I haven't watched them at all, but I'll keep an eye out on these players. But I hope to hear from you when we do our college football special on Wednesday. Keaton from Keaton Talk Sports is going to join on Wednesday. And I'm really, really, really excited about that. And I'm also really excited to talk college football. I'm not saying, hey, listen, I'm not saying you can't talk college football now, but on Wednesday, it's going to be our college football special. So I hope that you'll be able to join. I really don't. I really hope that you're able to join. I know you say that, but why didn't you use them more last year? You may really like him, but I also know that you just gave Jared Goff 220 some million. You gave over 110 million to Amon Ra. You gave over 110 million to Penei Sewell. You have what's called a salary cap. Can't pay everybody. And you got a former number one first round pick that when 2026 comes around, you have to figure out if you're going to give him that 5th year option or not. Well, Goff's making over 69 million that year. Just Goff alone eats up almost a quarter of your salary cap. By the way, I have no idea what the cap numbers are for Penei Sewell or Amon Ra in 2026. Somebody's got to go. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would not be at all surprised if they try to restructure, if they try to restructure Goff's contract so he's not so you're not taking the $69 million hit, but I don't see any possible way that you're going to exercise that 5th year option. If I'm the Lions, I strike when the iron's hot, and I mean, you have a team like New England that needs a weapon. All right. You got Pittsburgh. They need a number 2. Look at the Dallas Cowboys. They're always willing to make moves. You got a lot of offensive weapons in Detroit. Somebody's got to go. And I want to let go of the receiver who had injury issues, decided to, make the stupid gambling decision. And yeah, I understand that the rules are a little silly, but still, somebody's got to go. I'm going to keep an eye out. I hope that you join. I hope that you can bring this up on Wednesday, because I do want to talk some college football. I want to talk in the draft, and I don't know much about them. I haven't watched a single down of Michigan State. The only thing I've seen of Michigan State so far was the clips that you posted on Instagram, and I know they're 2-0. I'm kind of excited about that. Because I'm excited about college football now. Now, keep in mind, I've been saying for months that Texas is going to beat Michigan, and I'm mad I didn't put action on that game. So, but yeah, I hope that you join me and Keaton Talk Sports. And because Keaton Talk Sports is a big Ohio State fan, he's very excited. Yeah, beautiful single women in your area. Yeah, so it turns out to be the way StreamYard works is that I can put you in timeout. I can do a lot of things, but because this particular person posted something on Twitch, and I'm not that familiar with Twitch, I don't know how to I don't know how to delete that. So but yeah. But yeah, I need to make some changes on my Twitch account. But there's a good chance I might, instead of using Twitch, I think what I might do is go ahead and from going forward, I might use Discord instead. I know Luke G does a lot of Discord stuff. And I might switch over to the streaming instead of on Twitch. I might stream on Discord. I just don't. I don't use it that much. I know I'm showing my age a little bit. Oh, like that. I know a lot of people use Discord. I know Luke G uses Discord a lot. It's just something I'm not familiar with. But there is a way that I have to download or change something to download to go from StreamYard to Twitch. I haven't done it yet. I don't know how to do it. So, I need to watch these guys. One Pride 40 is more impressed with Michigan State than the Lions. The one thing, if you're a Lions fan, you should be excited. I don't want you to feel like you shouldn't be excited, but you're up 17-3 in the third quarter. You're against a team that is missing 4 starting offensive linemen. You're going against a team that's missing a couple corners in the secondary, and you have to go to overtime to get the win. The way you won in overtime was very, 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 very impressive. Very impressive. So I want to give the Lions a lot of credit, and I love what you did. Just David Montgomery, offensive line, let's go. Really liked it. Really impressed. Do I want to see, when you're up by 2 touchdowns in the third quarter against a banged up team, I want to see just stomp on them? Yeah, I want to see that. And that's something, if you're a Lions fan, you got to be a little worried about. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but I mean, you're up 27-7 in the NFC Championship game in the third quarter. You're up 17-3 against a banged up Rams team that you were just destroying, and I'm back in the game. I would not be at all surprised to see a Lions-Rams rematch in the playoffs. Maybe an NFC Championship preview. Maybe. All right, listen, we're at the top of hour number 3. Very short, very quick commercial break, and I will be back for the final hour. BetUS has partnered up with Dan Talks Football. I made a video in the description below showing you my first $100 deposit. This promotion is listed, but there are many more promotions available. In the video I made, I used a 20% bonus that's available on my first 3 deposits, turning my $100 deposit into $120. Use the promo code in the description below and start winning today. All right. Hour number 2 is in the books. Here for the final stretch here. My first afternoon delight special. Thank you so much for joining me talking football. My favorite thing in the whole world to do. Man, I'm just so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so happy to talk football. Also, a friendly reminder that my NFL Week 2 picks video will be out tomorrow morning or afternoon, depending where you are in the country. It'll come out 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific time, 10 a.m. Pacific time. It's going to come out early, so please check it out. If you didn't check out my Week 1 video, please check that out. And the link below in the description is my video showing how I made my first $100 deposit in the BetUS. It was pretty simple, no additional fees or charges. A lot of different promotions that they have. I used the 20% deposit bonus, so my $100 deposit was $120. I have a video showing everything. It's pretty good. So if you want to do what I did, I won both my bets. I took Kansas City -3. I took New England +9. I was tempted to take the Jets. I was going to take the Jets +4. Looks like ESPN's reporting it now at 4.5. I said I was going to, but I think I'm just going to pass. I think I'm just going to wait till week 2. I'm going to enjoy being 2-0 on my bets, and then we'll go from there. But I kind of want to recap everything that happened week 1. I'm going to kind of go in order. I got behind on comments earlier. I'm caught up now, so I apologize if I missed some things. Last thing I want to do is skip anybody or anything, but I missed some comments. I got a little behind, but I'm all caught up now. All questions are answered. Anything goes. That's always going to be a staple. Also, my email, dantalksfootball@yahoo.com. If you send an email, I'll respond via email, respond on the show. The whole purpose of doing this is just engage in some afternoon football conversations. All I want to do is talk football. That's it. That's the only thing I want to do. And so I'm here to talk football. My picks video out tomorrow morning, and I will be live for 3 hours Monday through Friday to talk football. All questions answered. Anything goes. I want to talk next about Tampa Bay and Washington. I really, really, really believe that if I had to say who is NFL MVP after week 1, I would say Baker Mayfield. This is just amazing. 24 out of 30, 289, 4 touchdowns. Is this a good team? Is this a good defense in Washington? No. You're going with a rookie quarterback. You're going against a remade defense. A defense has some holes in it. But I love the fact you got it done. I think they're only a 3-point favorite. This is another game I wish I put action on, but I kind of wanted to wait and see. Keep in mind, if you take a Todd Bowles team and you score 30 points in a game, you're going to win a lot of games. I mean, you're going to win a lot of games if you're scoring over 30 points a game. Todd Bowles, the defense is going to be good. You know the defense is going to be good. The problem's always going to be offensively, but you scored 37. You got your quarterback in Baker Mayfield. You have two really good receivers. Mike Evans had a pair of touchdowns. Chris Godwin, 8 catches, 83 yards, and a touchdown. Yeah, some really, really good things going on in Tampa Bay. I didn't have a chance to post my NFC South video, but I'm a lot higher on Tampa Bay than a lot of people. A lot higher on Tampa Bay than a lot of people. If you remember me telling you earlier, I was talking about Bo Nix and Bo Nix being the most impressive rookie quarterback. I stand by that. Jaden Daniels, 16 carries, 88 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that at all. 17 out of 24 for 184, sure, but how productive was he? He wasn't really productive. Wasn't really productive. I don't want to see him running around. A little disappointed that the Bucs didn't use more of a spy on him. Again, I only saw the red zone of Tampa Bay and Washington, but what I saw, Baker Mayfield just tore apart a bad defense. Jaden Daniels is not going to last very long in the NFL with 16 carries. Got to change. Got to change fast. But a very impressive win by Tampa Bay, a team that I've been adamant. I think Tampa Bay is a lot better than most people think. Great week 1 victory. Dallas, Cleveland, it's funny. I really was planning on leading off with Dak Prescott's contract, because I've been saying for a long time that Dak Prescott is going to get paid. I just didn't think it was going to be at the start of the season. I didn't think it was going to be so soon. I really didn't think that it would be Dak Prescott, breaking the bank this early. Am I surprised he got paid? No, I'm not. Not even a little bit surprised. I had a feeling this is what the Cowboys were going to do. I was thinking it might come a little later. If you look at the box score, a lot of you guys are saying that the Browns defense didn't play bad. If you look at the box score, this is not terrible. I mean, 25 carries, 102 yards. I mean, your longest carry was 12 yards by CeeDee Lamb. Ezekiel Elliott, 10 carries, 40 yards and a touchdown. But, I mean, you got up early. There was no threat at all from the Browns defense. Keep in mind, both tackles were hurt. Jerome Ford's out. Even though I did pick Dallas to win, I didn't put action on it, but I was really tempted to once I found out that both tackles were going to be out. A lot of people are really high on Cleveland. A lot of people are jumping ship early. If you're a Browns fan, I would say, look, Ravens lost, Bengals lost. I'm not stolen the Steelers. Don't worry about it. You're going to get your tackles back. The injuries aren't major. They'll be back in a few weeks. Nick Chubb's coming back off the PUP list after week 4. Nick Chubb, when healthy, is a top 5 running back. That is not debatable. He's missed a lot of time with injuries over the years, and he's 29. Is he going to be the same running back when he comes back? Nope, nobody knows. But if he comes back as the same back, you get both offensive tackles, you have that defense, you're in good shape. I'm not worried about this. I mean, this looked bad. But I'm not really worried if I'm the Cleveland Browns, because I'm looking at, look, I got Pittsburgh's the only team that won in the division. I got some injuries. I'm not jumping off of all the teams that looked the best in the loss, it was definitely the Rams. I was so impressed with the Rams. Really, really liked what I saw from the Rams, but kudos to the Detroit Lions for getting the right game plan installed in overtime, not getting cute and just winning. But I'm kind of expecting Detroit and the Rams play again in the playoffs. Going to be a lot of fun. Seattle in Denver. This was a game that, if you look at the box score, Bo Nix, 26 out of 42, 138, 2 interceptions, sacked twice. Yeah, the numbers look bad. The one thing I'm going to tell you from not watching the whole game, but just watching NFL Red Zone, is one thing about Bo Nix is that he looked comfortable in the offense. And you're going to say 26 out of 42 for 138. That's like, 6 yards of reception or 6 yards of completion. I'm not really worried about that. And the reason why is that I watched him play. He looked comfortable. He looked like he belonged. The one thing about Caleb Williams didn't look like he belonged in the NFL. He really didn't. Now that's going to change. Jaden Daniels running 16 times for 88 yards. That's what he did. At LSU, had over 1,000 yards rushing, won Heisman Trophy, deserved to win Heisman Trophy. He won't survive in the NFL doing that. I'm telling you this right now. He won't survive doing it. Is it fun to watch? Yeah, great. Josh Allen, he had a nice bunch of running plays. His hand's injured. I don't expect him to miss any games, but he's going to be hampered. Lamar Jackson had over 100 yards rushing in week 1. Looked awesome. Except for that missed touchdown in the end zone that I don't care what he says. Kryptonite is kryptonite is the Kansas City Chiefs. You're 1-5. Fun fact: Joe Burrow's 3-1 against the Chiefs. I'm going to bring that up in my video next week. Maybe I have the Bengals beating the Chiefs. Wouldn't that be a big upset? Hey, my upset week 1 is the Patriots over the Bengals. Said it for months. Put money on 9. I didn't take the money line. That's okay. I liked what I saw out of Bo Nix. I thought he looked comfortable. I'm not worried about the bad numbers. I was a little surprised that they didn't try to run the ball a little more. I was a little surprised they didn't try to protect him a little more, but I think that this is what you're going to see out of Denver. I think you're just going to throw Nix into the fire, and I think he's going to be better for it. I think he'll be just fine. I really do. I really think Bo Nix is going to be fine. Impressed with what I saw. I almost forgot here. Kenneth Walker had a really, really good game. Kenneth Walker had a really good game. 20 carries, 103 yards, and a touchdown. Overall, 33 carries, 146, 2 touchdowns. Geno Smith had a 34-yard carry and a touchdown. I didn't see that play, though. I that's one thing I did want to see is that, is Geno Smith, is this designed where he's running the ball more? Because they brought in the University of Washington offensive coordinator. And when I watched them play, they had more of a vertical offense, something I don't think is a Geno Smith trait. Geno Smith, 18 out of 25, 171. It's kind of funny because I was kind of expecting, if you had to tell me going into this game which quarterback's going to throw for 25 and which one's going to throw for 42, I would say Geno Smith 42, Bo Nix 25. Instead, it's flipped. if they're going to rely more on the ground game in Seattle, I really like that. Kenneth Murray's had some issues staying healthy, but when he is healthy, he's really, really good. I didn't know he went over 100 yards. I should have before I came on. That's the whole reason I may just switch this to Tuesday through Friday, so I have more chance to dive into this, because I didn't realize that until just now. I was looking into it and saw he had over 100 yards. I know he had a good game. And I was impressed with the way Bo Nix looked. Even though the stats looked bad, I was impressed. I really thought Denver would do more running the ball, the take some pressure off him. Apparently, even though you're a true rookie and you're in your first NFL game, hey, you're going to throw the ball a lot. I like it. The one game I watched completely was Raiders and Chargers. And so, by the way, if you look at the box score, Gardner Minshew, 25 out of 33, 257, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. You're like, okay, that's not bad. Yeah, it was bad. He didn't look good. He really didn't look like Gardner Minshew is a guy I'm always going to cheer for, a guy I'm always going to root for. But Gardner Minshew is a backup quarterback. Let's just be honest. He's a backup quarterback. He's not the dude who you want as your starter. I think the Raiders were trying to get Aiden O'Connell. He didn't grab the reins completely. This is not a dude who look, you're in a division with Justin Herbert. I just gushed over Bo Nix and that Patrick somebody. The Raiders are going to do everything they can. 22 carries, 71 yards on the ground against. I'm going to tell you something. The Chargers defense looked a lot better than it has over the last several years. It looked a lot better. The Chargers defense was pretty impressive. Chargers defense was pretty impressive. Is this Raiders offense good? No. This is probably going to be one of the 5 worst offenses in football. And I don't think Luke Getsy. I would be shocked if Luke Getsy comes back next year as the offensive coordinator. I think you're going to have a new offensive coordinator. I think you're going to have a new quarterback. And I think that you're going to, if you're the Raiders, you're just going to try to do the same thing again, unless you get a new head coach, where you're just going to try to win, running game, defense. But 22 carries, 71 yards, that's a problem. Chargers defense played well. Do I expect Chargers defense to play well every week? No, I do not. But played well against bad offense. That's a good thing. Minshew is a solid starter, backup. He's not a franchise guy that Pat Scott made a Las Vegas near top 5. Yeah, I mean, Drake May, I was expecting to start. And the reason why I say this is because I kept on seeing clips of forgot his name already. First day, and I've had a few mental errors as far as names, but I'm drawing a complete blank on the kid's name. And I liked him. I liked him quite a bit. I completely blank. Jacoby Brissett. So you have Jacoby Brissett. You have some. You have a guy who has some starting experience in New England, but Drake May is going to be a starter sooner or later. Yeah, and the Raiders are going to try and do something. I think there's going to be a few guys in the draft. I mentioned Deion Sanders' kid, but however, after 10 points against Nebraska, I kind of want to wait and see. But You have him. We're going to talk about some college quarterbacks. We're going to talk about some Heisman picks come Wednesday, but there's several guys that are coming into the draft. I mean, there's always going to be a few quarterbacks that go in the first round. There's always going to be a few quarterbacks. So the last time this happens when the Chiefs had the number one overall pick. That was the last time a quarterback wasn't chosen in the first round. So. Actually, that's not true. The draft, the Will Levis, Malik Willis draft a couple of years ago, there was nobody chosen in the first round then either. So I misspoke. In this coming up draft, there's going to be a couple of quarterbacks going in the first round, and I fully expect the Raiders. I can see the Raiders giving up a lot of draft capital. I can see the Raiders giving up players. They're going to get somebody because you're in the division with Justin Herbert. You're in the division with Patrick Mahomes. Bo Nix impressed me enough that I would take Bo Nix over Minshew right now today. So. Pat's quarterback is solid, but he's not the long-term answer. I think the Pats start May soon. That's definitely a possibility because you're leaning on Ramondre Stevenson as long as he's healthy. I think it was 25 carries, 125 yards and a touchdown. He's not going to last. I mean, he's just not. But Week 1 was a big win for the Patriots. Yeah, it was a great win. I mean, there's a chance if the Jets win that the whole AFC East is 1-0, and I do think the Jets are going to win this game. I mean, it's going to be a great. I'm excited for it. I'm super excited for Jets 49ers. But I think you're right. Vegas might be picking top 10 or 15. I think so. And I mean, keep in mind they picked 13th this year. They picked 13th this year and they tried to trade up to 2. They weren't able to do it. I have no idea what Washington asked for. I think Washington just flat out said no because they were trying to trade to 1 to get Caleb Williams. They weren't able to do that. Jaden Daniels was the backup. New England at 3, if you watched Hard Knocks, is that they took calls from the Giants. I think the Vikings were really, really trying hard to get Drake May. Consolation prize was J.J. McCarthy. That didn't, work out. But, well, it did sort of. They got McCarthy, got the consolation prize. I don't know if the Raiders are interested in Drake May or McCarthy, but in this draft, I mean, keep in mind, let's just have some fun. Let's just say you pick 13th again. If Deion's son's available, would the Raiders pick him at 13? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it'd be a lot of fun. I think it'd be a lot of fun for everybody. But we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I agree with you. The Raiders offense is not going to be good this year at all. The Chargers defense, I think, did a good job limiting the Raiders to 10 points. They did what they were supposed to do. I didn't realize Harbaugh has this great record week 1. That's something I should have known. So I think if Anthony P is gone, he doesn't make the playoffs. Anthony P. I'm trying to. I know. I don't think you're talking about Anthony Richardson. I'm drawing a blank on who you're talking. Anthony P. is gone. He doesn't make the play. Can you Okay. Las Vegas head coach. Okay. So if Antonio Pierce is gone, I think Antonio Pierce is gone if he doesn't make the playoffs. Okay. I get what you're saying. Okay. So I don't agree with that. And I'll tell you why. Luke Getsy was fired by Chicago. They brought him in to be the offensive coordinator. They had a quarterback battle in training camp. It's never you can't have a quarterback battle and a new offensive coordinator. You can't do it. I was convinced once the Bears fired Getsy that they were going to keep Justin Fields, but they decided they didn't want to do that. What they decided that they were going to do instead, which they took Caleb Williams and they brought in a new offensive coordinator. We'll have to see how that works in Chicago. Right now, I don't think it's going to work. Yeah, I know they won their first game, but Caleb Williams doesn't look comfortable. I was adamant that I should have took that over 3,500 bet, especially after 93 yards week 1. But anyway, I didn't, even though I recommended a lot of you guys should. Getsy's going to be the scapegoat. Gardner Minshew is going to be the scapegoat. I could see the Raiders not being a good team this year and the Raiders just going after a quarterback. But if the Raiders don't make the playoffs, could Antonio Pierce be gone? Absolutely. Yeah, the Falcons taking Penix through a rents in everyone's draft. You're right, because I think Penix. I'm going to tell you this right now. Penix is available at 13. He's the Raiders pick, and I think the Raiders fully believe that because everybody, including myself, had the Atlanta Falcons taking Dallas Turner, which to me made a lot of sense. The Falcons had 30 sacks last year. They were dead last. They needed some help on their front seven. First 7 picks in the draft are all offensive guys. So Dallas Turner made a lot of sense. Dallas Turner had a sack in his first NFL game, by the way. I'm not saying he's going to be a star, but he looks good. I'll tell you, Latu, I think looked decent. The Colts defense didn't look good, but he's a guy I think is going to have a bright future. He could have gone to either one of those guys. And if you did that, you're better this year. Now in the future, 10 years from now, Michael Penix, if he's a superstar quarterback for the Falcons, we're all looking back and saying, hey, that's great. But Rhino's Roundtable brings up a good point. How many coaches are the Raiders going to keep on payroll that aren't coaching for them? The Raiders have to learn their lessons for a head coach selection soon. Can't keep turnover and paying dead contracts. It's kind of funny because I had a buddy of mine. He sent me some pictures of Allegiant Stadium. He's a 49ers fan, so he went to the preseason game between the Raiders and the 49ers. Great seats. Stadium looks awesome. And he paid an arm and a leg. So the stadium tickets to Allegiant Stadium is one of the most expensive. They're cleaning up whether they have a good team or not. Allegiant Stadium. It's kind of funny because there's more Raiders fans at whatever they're calling the Chargers Stadium. I forget the name of it, but there was more Raiders fans than Chargers fans. They're making money in Vegas, and they can pay Antonio Pierce to go away. It's more important that they get the right guy. Now, I'm going to tell you, Rhino's Roundtable, Double R. I'm going to tell you this right now. I think unless they win 5 games, 4 games, something, unless the team just falls apart, I think Antonio Pierce will stay. I think the defense will be fine, and he's a defensive-minded coach. Lou Getzey, the offensive coordinator, is fired from Chicago. For some reason, the Raiders hired him. I thought it was a bad hire. You worked with Justin Fields. You couldn't get it to work. So you're now working with either Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew. You can't have a quarterback competition and have a brand new offense. Can't do it. And that's what the Raiders did. It's a disaster. Here's what's going to happen. I think Getzey's going to be fired. Minshew signed a 2-year deal. He'll stay. Aiden O'Connell may or may not stay. First round of the draft, they're going to figure out something. They're going to draft a quarterback, and he's going to start day one. Shiloh Sanders, maybe. I don't know. There's some good quarterbacks that are going to come out in the draft. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, the Raiders can, and I think they will, and they're generating enough money in that stadium, which by the way, Allegiant Stadium's right next to the Strip, and it costs an arm and a leg to get in there. I saw the pictures. It's beyond. I've had season tickets to the Chiefs since '89. I've been over to 300. I've been over to Arrowhead 300 times. Allegiant Stadium looks. It's not even the same tier. I mean, it looks so much nicer. Nothing against Arrowhead. I'm just telling you right now, it just looks so much nicer. Ladd McConkey had 5 catches, 39 yards, and a very impressive touchdown. Quentin Johnson really, really, really needs to step up. I thought that he was the best receiver coming out last year. Didn't have that good of a year. He needs to step up. Joshua Palmer, when he was a rookie a couple of years ago, he was actually the leading receiver. And this is a dude who I thought was raw and talented. He needs to do something. I liked what the Chargers did, though. Justin Herbert, 17 out of 26, 144. So 26 pass attempts, 27 run attempts. But what happened is when I watched this game, J.K. Dobbins had, I think it was like 4 yards in the first half, finished with 135. So what the Chargers did is they tried throwing the ball. They weren't successful. The pass rush was bothering Herbert. They just decided to run the ball. They started off with Gus Edwards, 11 carries, 26 yards. So what they do, they put the more talented Dobbins in there. And whichever running back is better is going to play. Well, Dobbins is the better player, but Dobbins can't stay healthy. But you have a Dobbins-Edwards, combo. You go ahead and it took a while. But you ran the ball. McConkey is a guy that a lot of people are thinking it's going to be the number one receiver for the Chargers. And I think if he's the number one receiver, which by the way, he was in this game, he led the team in receptions, 5. Okay, it's fair. 39 yards. Can you beat the Raiders? Yeah. But are you going to beat Kansas City, which is the goal? No. No Chiefs fans looking at this game and going, oh no, I'm afraid of the Chargers. Nobody's doing that. But Ladd McConkey, he looks solid. He's supposed to look solid. Is he supposed to be number one on this team? No. Quentin Johnson, the first round pick from last year, he's supposed to be number one. 3 carries, 3 receptions, 38 yards. He's got to do more. But, as long as Dobbins is healthy and you have Herbert and the defense continues to play well against bad offense, but, I mean, that's kind of where we're at right now. I haven't done my video yet, but the Chargers play Carolina, another team with a struggling offense. Next week, they play at Pittsburgh, another team with a struggling offense. Week 4, they play Kansas City, so we'll have to wait. But could we be looking at a potential 3-0 start before they play Kansas City? Maybe. It's going to be fun. But early on, Alt and McConkey, really solid draft by the Chargers. Mark Davis will be forced to sell or bring in a rich person as an owner. Well, actually, what they did is that he brought in Tom Brady to be a partial owner. And Tom Brady, for his announcing job, is getting a lot of money. He's worth a lot of money. And he was going to be, I think it was a 3% owner. Now, the way it worked out is that it's kind of funny because if he takes over as partial owner, there's some stipulations the what he can or can't do announcing, which I thought was interesting. But yeah, he's already brought in Brady. But I'm telling you right now, for the amount of money that they're generating in Vegas, whether they have a good team or not, it's just crazy. They're bringing in full stadiums, merchandise, they're doing just fine. Is he going to be forced to sell? I really don't think so. I really don't. Al Davis wasn't forced to sell, and remember he kept on suing the NFL. I don't know if you remember this. Al Davis sued the NFL. He moved the team to LA, then he moved back to Oakland, and always fought with the NFL. Mark Davis isn't doing any of that. He's been really, really pretty quiet for the most part, but he did bring in Brady to be a partial owner. I think he'll be just fine because they're making an arm and a leg. Keep in mind their first game was a road game, but when they're playing home games, whether they have a good team or not, they're raking in the cash. So I don't think so. I really don't think so. But Brady was there. I think it's still a thing in combo. I think it's still like a work in progress. I don't think Antonio Pierce needs the right offensive coordinator to use the offensive talent right. I think they need to trade Adams to a contender at the trade deadline for picks, and I do think that this will happen. I think Davante Adams, by the way, 5 catches, 59 yards. I think he will be traded at the trade deadline. I think you're 100% correct on this, Perry. And you're Perry's on fire today. Perry's just doing awesome here. I wish I had that old on fire comment, but I do think that he's going to be traded at the trade deadline. I'm looking at maybe a team like Pittsburgh that needs another number 2 receiver. New England, I think, would be an excellent spot, especially if Drake May ends up starting. Like, hey, look, I need a guy, because when Will Levis got to start last year, what did you do? You just focused on DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah, and by the way, what have I been saying over and over and over again? You're going to draft a quarterback, so you need draft capital. And I don't think the Raiders are going to be in that top 5 selection either. I think the Raiders are going to pick somewhere between 10 and 15. I think they're going to hover around 500. This year, what did they do? They picked 13th. What did they have to do? They tried to trade up. They weren't able to. And that's the one thing about the draft. You're not always able to trade up. Remember, Minnesota traded back into the first round to try to get a package deal so they could trade up. Remember, the Vikings really wanted Drake May. That was the guy that they were trying to get, and New England just kept on saying no. New England just said no, and they had to go with the backup, which was J.J. McCarthy. So, yeah, you need draft capital, but you may not be able to be in the right spot. I promise you, if Penix was available at 13, they would have pulled the trigger, but I do think Adams, when the trade deadline comes, I think Adams will be moved. I firmly believe that. It'll be interesting to see where he goes. I think New England could be a spot, especially if they're hovering around 500. Pittsburgh, of course, right now is winning the AFC North. That's going to be short-lived. Maybe. Trying to think of another team just right off the top of my head. Who knows? But yeah. He does need the right offensive coordinator, and Luke Getsy's not it. Luke Getsy's not it. Hey, by the way, if you can prove me wrong, do it. But I don't believe he's it. So the best part about this draft in free agency, especially this draft is loaded with defensive players. I like what they did. They drafted in the third round his former middle linebacker out of Michigan, and he's going to really help out. And then you got Bosa, you got drawing a blank here, Khalil Mack. But I could see them getting a really good stud defensive player. I could also see the Chargers getting a little creative in the draft, maybe trading back and stockpiling picks and try to really get some guys in 2026 to help out on the offensive side. I don't know, but I like what they did in the draft, though. You got 3 guys that are going to be day one starters. So the Chargers got Joe Alt. Looks like he's going to be he is starting. Lad McConkey, slot starter. Excuse me. Junior Colson in the third round. Not a starter yet, but Junior Colson sooner or later will be the starting linebacker. Starting inside linebacker for the Chargers. It was I was trying to figure this out. I was so mad. I'm going to rant slightly here. I was so mad because I was trying to figure out who number 0 was for the Chargers. And it wasn't Perryman. It wasn't Perryman. It was, Dion Henley. Third round pick out of last year's draft. So anyway, I was trying to figure out who it was. So on my old TV, I could hit the stats button and it would go towards that game. This time I hit the stats button and it went directly to the score of Rams Lions. So I knew the score was 17-13 with 6 minutes left in the game because I DVR everything, and what I wanted to do was skip all the commercials, so I can just watch at my leisure. I don't like watching commercials, but I was so mad. I just bought a 55-inch Samsung, nothing special. It's kind of funny because I was telling my buddy I just bought the shelves at Walmart, that the outdoor garage shelves, those big plastic black ones that you use for the garage. I got those. I got the 4-stack. Split it into 2, put the TV on top of that, put the power strip right on top of the plastic. I don't like, anyway. 55-inch Samsung, really nice TV. It's less than $400. I think it was $400 with tax, but nice TV. But yeah. But I was mad because I'm not used to it yet. So when I hit the stats button, instead of getting the stats for that game, I saw the score. So I knew. So when the score was 17-10 and the Rams were on the 1-yard line, I knew they were kicking a field goal. They looked week 1 disaster, but yeah. Trevor Lawrence needs to step up. I thought he played decent from what I saw. I thought he played decent. The issue that I have, they were up in that game against the Dolphins, and the defense was playing pretty well. You're up 17-7 at half. Okay. Now here's the drill. If you didn't see the game, the last play of the game, Dolphins won with a 52-yard field goal. You were up 17-7 at half, and the defense was playing really well. So the Jaguars got a new defensive coordinator, and the defense looked like they're playing pretty well. Brian Thomas Jr. looks really good, by the way. Looks really, really, really good. trying to bring up the stats here. Hold on here. Bear with me. What did he do week one? I know he had a touchdown. Brian Thomas Jr., 4 catches, 47 yards, and a touchdown. Played really, really, really well. Played better than the stats indicate. But Trevor Lawrence, 12 out of 21, 162, and a touchdown. Not exactly. I have to admit, I didn't watch the whole game, but I really thought when Jacksonville was up 17-7, I was like, okay, well, they stifled the Dolphins offense. They can do enough offensively, 17 in the first half. You can't be shut out in the second half. I'm not sold on Dolphins defense, but kudos to Dolphins defense for getting it done. Tyreek Hill, 80-yard touchdown in the third quarter to kind of open things up when the offense was stagnant. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence needs to step up. 12 out of 21 for 162. That's not good enough, especially when you're up by 10 and you don't score at all in the second half. Not exactly sure what happened in that game. Davis needs to find the right GM head coach combo. Let their do. Yeah, I know that I think Antonio Pierce. I think they're set up right. I'm not sold on Luke Getsy as the offensive coordinator. And if you do bring in an offensive coordinator and you bring in a brand new offense, you can't have a quarterback competition. I knew this wasn't going to work out. But one thing I will say is that give credit to the Raiders for having a good defense. And we'll see what happens, but they need to fix some things in the offseason. I didn't know that. I didn't know Jerry Jones was on the sidelines. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Yeah, Arch Manning, I firmly believe will be the number one pick in the 2026 draft. But yeah, I don't see him being yeah, I'm on a level with you right now. I know the Panthers looked really bad week one. I don't think they're going to have the number one pick. But one thing I do think they will do is that I think Evero is the defensive coordinator. He was the defensive coordinator last year. When they hired Dave Canales, they told him who his defensive coordinator is going to be. They decided they're going to keep Evero. This is unusual, but because Canales has never been a NFL head coach, they decided to keep some continuity together. But then they got rid of 4 starters from a defense that was so-so. Now they kept Derek Brown, who may be out for the whole year. I'll have some more information on that for tomorrow's show. But yeah, he's out. They're not going to have the number one pick. But in this draft, there's a lot of really, really, really good defensive players. And I think that what you're going to see is a new defensive coordinator come in, probably. And it wouldn't surprise me if you draft the best defensive player wherever you draft, and it could be top 5, top 10. You could also trade out stockpile picks for possible Arch Manning. You could also stockpile picks because in this year's draft, they used the first, second, and fourth round picks on offensive players that are raw and talented. Well, they may want to trade down and get like 5 or 6 defensive players to build on the defensive side. What week one team that one will fall off by the end of the season? I think it's the Saints. I've been saying for a long time that the Saints are kind of a sleeper team. But the offensive line was banged up. The offensive line played well. There's a lot of age on that defense. If they stay healthy, great, but they got a lot of age. Panthers are a bad team. I'm not 100% sold on on the Saints, even though I called them a sleeper team. Pittsburgh's another team. I know they beat Atlanta, but I as much as I think that you have a future Hall of Fame coach in Mike Tomlin, I'm not sold on Pittsburgh. So I'm giving you a couple teams here. I think the Saints and the Steelers. There's always a week one anomaly. There's always a week one anomaly. And I can see the Steelers and the Saints as being two of those teams. I really could. I also don't have a lot of faith in Chicago. I love it. I love it. I really do. Instead of a cabinet, a TV stand, it was like $25. If I get a garage, they're perfect for a garage. I have one upstairs. I think they're fantastic. Trevor Lawrence, I've always been a big fan of Trevor Lawrence. Didn't have a good week one. Yeah, he looked really good. He looked really good. They need to do more. Rhinos Roundtable, good night, chat. Good night, Dan. Hey, thank you very much. I only got 9 minutes left, so less than 9 minutes. So, but I am going to be live tomorrow, same time, same channel, 3 straight hours of football talk. I'll be able to watch. I'm going to watch all of Monday Night Football, plus I'll be able to watch some more. Plus, I'm going to have my weekly picks video out, so definitely check it out. It'll be released in the morning. I'm going to start working on it probably after Monday Night Football, maybe before, during, but yeah. Keaton Talk Sports is joining me Wednesday for Wednesday's going to be fantasy football and college football. Keaton Talk Sports is going to join me Wednesday, the final hour. And we're going to talk college football. There's a possibility he is going to bring up his Ohio State Buckeyes. Keaton Talk Sports says Pats are going to spoil a lot of teams this year. Defensive flying around the field yesterday. They are fine without Judon. I'm going to let you know right now, they did a really, really, really good job. Keon White had a phenomenal game. 2.5 sacks. He was one of my big draft crushes that I thought could have gone in round 1. I was really kind of expecting him to go in round 1. Didn't go in round 1. If I remember right, he was the 53rd pick in the draft, and I thought the Patriots got a steal. Didn't play that much last year. Replaced Judon, 2.5 sacks. Great game. Yeah, they're fine without Judon, and they also get that 3rd round pick from Atlanta, and we're going to find out what they do. They're going to find out what they do. But yeah, I kept on calling Trevor Lawrence Tannehill, and I did that for months, and I'm not good with names. This is why you always call your girl baby. But yeah. Perry says, hey, Keaton, how are you? What do you think the Pats win in week 1? The Bengals look like the Bungles again. Big game for Cincinnati week 2. They play the Chiefs. And I thought that was a big reason why I picked New England, the cover 9, is because I really think the Bengals were really looking ahead. Listen, Kansas City, Cincinnati is a big game. Joe Burrow, 3-1. Against Patrick Mahomes. You know how many quarterbacks have a winning record against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, except for Joe Burrow? That's it. Yeah, they I really think that they kind of overlooked the Patriots, and I think the Patriots really, really had a nice game plan. A lot of Ramondre Stevenson, really, really good defense, really underrated defense. Perry, what's up, man? I'm very impressed with the win. A lot of people are disrespecting the Pats. We're better than a lot of people think. Excited for Seattle this week. You should be. Very good chance you could be 2-0. Very good chance you could be 2-0. Very good chance. Am I picking the Patriots? You have to wait and see. My video comes out tomorrow. Yeah. The Seahawks defense looks great. Walker was running the ball like beast mode. I think that I do like what Seattle did defensively. I really want to watch more of it. I was paying more attention to Bo Nix. I liked what I saw out of Bo Nix. I really, really do. I also like the fact that it's not going to pay off in the short term, but it'll pay off in the long term. That they already looks like they implemented their offense. They didn't protect Bo Nix by running the ball, which Seattle did in protecting Geno Smith. You have to protect Geno Smith. I mean, he's got talent all around him, but it looks like they're happy just running the ball. I think that was a smart move. I want to see how Seattle looks against the big dogs in the NFC. I want to see how they look against San Francisco. I want to see how they look against LA. And because I think those are two playoff teams. I don't think Denver is a playoff team, but it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Kudos to Tom McDonald. I think it's Tom McDonald. Kudos to the Seattle Seahawks for their big win week 1. Peace, nerds. See y'all tomorrow. Listen, Denver Gator, I just want to thank you so much for joining today. I don't want to go into personal details, but I just want to thank you very much for joining me today. It means a lot. I hope everything is going well for you, and I really, really, I'm excited to see you tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll have a great game to talk about. Hopefully, New York, San Francisco is a great game, and we have a lot to talk about. And then don't forget Wednesday, I have Keaton Talk Sports. He's going to be joining me. We're going to talk some college football, and also have a fantasy football kind of a lineup for you for Wednesday. Really excited about that. But thanks for helping out and joining for week 1 or day 1, week 1, my afternoon debut, afternoon delight debut, and I hope that it continues to work out. It was a lot of fun doing this. Jared Goff does have a winning record. Yes, you're right. Jared Goff does too. Yeah, Jared Goff's 2-0, if I remember right. Yeah, 2-0. I forgot about that one. I got something wrong. I make mistakes every now and then, Perry. But Perry, I got 2 minutes left, and I want to tell you, man, thanks for joining me. I'm glad you were able to join me. And one of the things about switching time slots was I was worried that I was going to miss out on getting some comments from you in Denver Gator. One Pride 40 joined in. I didn't get to hear from Funk, which I was a little disappointed about, but I got to hear from a lot of you guys, and that's really exciting. So McDonald looks like he can coach game 1. Old McDonald. It's funny because I think he's the NFL's youngest head coach. The Seattle Seahawks went from the oldest head coach in Pete Carroll to the youngest one. I think it's Tom McDonald. No, it's not Norm McDonald. Keaton, do you think your running back Stevenson can keep week 1 pace? I'm going to ruin this for you. And no, it's not possible. And the reason why it's not possible is 25 carries, 120 yards, and a touchdown. 3 receptions for 6 yards. So 28 touches. Here's the deal. When you're that size and you're running between the tackles, it's just too much punishment. I have to leave her. I'm wrapping up. It's only a 3-hour show, and I'm at 2:59. My week 1 picks video is below. My week 2 picks video is coming out tomorrow. Please check it out. By the way, week 1, I did pick the Patriots over the Bengals. I called it. You can check it out for yourself if you don't believe me. The video is ranked below.
Check out my BetUS. I made my first $100 deposit, made a link below. It's really easy. Check it out for yourself. Afternoon Delight will be live Monday through Friday, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Guys, have a great night, and I hope to see everybody back tomorrow.